Now taxes is getting the
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this loser semis match here of Draft League here of LXC, our season 1. The matchup here we got today is we got the Squid Squad coming back from a good underdog route versus the Lightning Sabers, who we honestly thought would be in winners finals, but as we're seeing now, we're just having the 1v1 go about. And I'm Badger, so excited to be here. Also, I'm joined by Righteous. Righteous, how are you doing today, man?
Doing great. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing how the new season changes are going to affect how these teams kind of go about things here.
Unfortunately, we don't get to see those new seasons yet, as we're doing our 1v1 to determine side selection. That is a neat rule that we added here for LXC Draft League. Just to begin the set, instead of just having the higher seed, it's going to be a 1v1, first blood, first turret, or first to, I believe, a 50 CS or 100 CS. Could be wrong. Usually a kill happens, so like we never even end up getting there. But still, it's going to be a matchup here on ARAM, so some champions have a little bit of adjusted balancing, but...
All I know is Valka just locked in some cancer. I'll tell you that for free.
Valka locked in the meta. You know, this guy is a meta abuser. He went... You know, if I'm seeing it right, we're seeing that it's the exhaust, ignite, bard strategy here. This champion just has a lot of extra stats. I believe it's like 110% damage given and then like 90% damage received. Like it's very, very obnoxious to play against here. I will say though, I think Dan 420 himself is on the Rumble, right? That champion can get away with some stuff. He has Ignite himself, but still, right? This Bard, he has that extra combat summoner. Is it going to be enough? I don't really know. To be honest, I don't know enough about ARAM.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know the ins and outs of the ARM buffs and changes and things like that. All I do know is that if you ever engage with a bard that has exhaust ignite, you're probably gonna lose that matchup. So we'll have to see how 420 responds here. You said first blood, first tower, 100 CS, or is it 50?
I am gonna say, you know what? Just for the sake of it, to make it a little more interesting, we're gonna say it's 50. Who's gonna
Okay.
say if that happens? I know these two are probably gonna be slugging it out with each other. As right now, we're just seeing a little bit of interaction here, just feeling each other out, right? I feel like Valka has that slight advantage. He is the ranged champion in this matchup here. He's gonna be able to try to poke him down, but it's hard as we see the stun potentially not landing there almost. But right now, we see that Fort got the early push on the wave. He's gonna try to get that level advantage here
Yeah, and this might be
as the stun lands, but.
this might be 420 just playing for minions here. Because I was thinking about this, right? Even if Rumble hits the level 6, Valka could just ult himself for the duration of the red carpet, right? So it's kind of 420 is at a disadvantage pretty much at all points during this game, except for being able to push that farm.
Look, this is one of the reasons I'm one of the advocates for not ARAM 1v1s, but instead we do 1v1s on Summoner's Rift,
Top
right?
lane.
'Cause- Yes, because I think Bard's a little broken on this map, right? I think he gets so much advantage here. He's not going to get harassed enough to. He has all of those healing fountains as well. Like he's in a pretty good spot here, right? We now see the wave is pushing into 420 at the moment, right? Valka is already dinged 6 while 420 is still level 5. I think there is an angle to try to use that level advantage, and I think right now they're going for it. We see Valka's kiting out the flame spitter
Exhaust.
pretty well. The exhaust comes out too. The ultimate lands. Good flash there from 420. Right now, 420's in a pretty bad spot. He needs to ding level 6. But the one advantage here is potentially that ult was used from Bard, so we do have the equalizer. That red carpet, like you're talking about, is now available. There could be a chance he goes for a quick burst here, as we think it's going to be happening now. He's going for it. That is not a good equalizer, 420. You got to be aiming a little bit stronger. But actually, wait, it's kind of close. I think if he has flash, if 420 has flash here, he could flash.
He flashed the Bartle.
Never mind, I'm a liar. But
Yeah.
still, it's like this is. Man, dude, he's just going back and healing. Look at this little merchant, man. He's such a little stinker. Goes for the heals. Bro, look at all the hard work that 420 just went down the drain.
Oh, that's it. I think that's it.
It's going to be tough. Wait, 420 goes for the turnaround. Maybe he has the flame spitter. He's getting kited, and it's not enough. And Valka, the Bard abuser in ARAM, gets the side select for the Lightning Sabers there.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? They're playing to win. They're not playing for fun.
I know they're playing to win, but you know what? Valka, you lost a little bit of my respect today. I'll be honest. You Bard abuser. Oh my goodness. But still, I think we'll have to see what actual side they end up picking here, as it doesn't mean like they get like red or blue. They get to choose the pick. And just from looking over at how these drafts are going to play out, I think it could go either way, right? Righteous, I know me and you were talking about it a little bit, but like, can you kind of give me a rundown of maybe like what you think we might be expecting from this side select for Lightning Sabers?
I'm a blue side believer. So I imagine they go blue side and threaten either picking Misfortune or Cassiopeia if Cassiopeia is in their pool. Those two champs have kind of become the cream of the crop of the new season. Cassiopeia, a little bit overtuned if you're able to get that feats of strength. Getting 6 move speed per level on a champ that can rush Rylai's is pretty crazy.
It's a little.
And then Misfortune is kind of like the only traditional ADC. By traditional, I mean just like you're sitting there, you're auto attacking. That's doing really well in bot lane. Other than that, you're looking at like a lot of mages bot. So we'll have to see if that's what Sabers prioritizes, that blue side threat.
I think also like we kind of talk about those like S plus tier like 80 carries, right? The Casio, the Misfortune,
Mm-hmm.
literally any mage that can go up there. I think with a lot of these 80 carries, they still want to hold on to like, oh, I still want to do 80 damage. I want to have that like 80 carry dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have champions like Corki, who I think is still doing pretty solid right now. He also has the opportunity to still flex mid. It's kind of been brought back. It was cut back, and now it's like a little bit back. And then Jinx also is not doing too bad, right? She's sitting kind of like the like 51% win rate with like a 20% pick rate, which is really good for Jinx. So I think probably these early picks are going to be like a rotation of they're trying to get the Misfortune, trying to get the Corki,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get the Jinx. And I think a lot of it's just going to be like, how do you counter that? How do you counter these super strong AD champs? Because at the moment, it's kind of slim pickings on them.
Yeah, something that comes to my mind is if there's any Ziggs players out there, getting the push with Ziggs or potentially Caitlyn, if you see an early pick on the Jinx or the Quirky. Because you got to remember, with this season, the feats of strength, a lot of pushing power goes a long way for those feats, whether it's securing epic monsters or potentially even that first tower. You'll have to kind of take that in mind. There's the risk reward with picking Corki and Jinx, just because it takes a while for those champions to come online. So you might be setting yourselves up for failure when it comes to the feats of strength. Of course, you can play around it. You can play patiently. It's not the end of the world, but the early returns this season for feats of strength is if you can get those and get those boots upgrades, you're in the driver's seat for the rest of the match.
100%. And Righteous, I know you said you were a blue side believer, but apparently the Lightning Sabers, they said no to that. They're taking red. It has been kind of like the meta pick to go red side. I think a lot of people really value that counter pick. Especially like if you keep going like up in the echelon, you can get away with just like this is the best champ, we're gonna lock it. But I think just honestly, we're still like this is kind of Emerald Plat Elo. Counter pick still goes a long way. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we were kind of like, I didn't say like the like spotlights of like who I think are going to be like the matchups to watch, but I realistically think this top lane matchup between Fort 20, between Valka, these are probably two of the top. These are the two top laners in this league. I guess other than Yakko, the Masters player. But like these are up there as like some of the best players here, right? They are fiending for that counter pick, right? Because if you get a counter pick top lane, you can get a pretty solid advantage here. Other things is a support counter pick is also really strong. This matchup between Griff, this matchup between Artemis, these are two really strong supports. They want to be moving around the map. They want to be causing some commotion everywhere. I think that is also something that maybe they go for that support counter pick, and that's why they ended up choosing red side here.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of power in that the counter pick. I mean, going back to that feats of strength again, right? You want to set yourself up for pushing lanes or kill potential in those lanes. First blood now is an objective, so um, any advantage that you can get in draft goes a long way to setting yourself up for the longevity of this game, right? So getting good counter picks that you've been practicing and know will work out. It says a lot about their confidence, right? Because if those counter picks fail or don't live up to expectations, then it gets a little bit scary because blue side, you do have that option to first pick whatever you want. So we'll have to see how this draft shakes out.
I also think when you're going blue side here, we also have to account, hey, this is hard fearless, right? If these champs are getting taken
Mm-hmm.
away, right? We talked about the kind of limitations on those 80 carry picks. They're going to be gone for the rest of the series, right? I think you kind of with these teams, they're pretty evenly balanced. I think you go out the gate swinging, you pick your best champs early, get yourself the advantage because
Mm-hmm.
if you think you have a bigger champion pool than the rest of the team, it is so much in favor for you to just play the strong champs early here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm excited. I like. There's not a ton of meta reads to make, right? Just because the season's so new, people are still figuring out what they prefer to play with. But going like just looking at how these two teams have played coming into this match, I was curious to see, how these squads might kind of approach this first game. So you're talking about top side, right?
Mm-hmm.
It block and Fort 20 between those two players account for 55% of their team's damage typically. So I agree. I think top side's going to be where you're seeing the epic monster out of con spawn. I think there's going to be lots of pressure on that top side of the map, and it's going to be up to Sabers to deal with that. Whether that is, unlocking Griffin to roam up for early objectives on that side, or Poop Sock Boss Man spending a lot of time that he might not necessarily make up on that top side, but look for a block of 420 um, to run away with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I will say, to be the devil's advocate in this situation, Fort 20,
Mm-hmm.
when he gets the resources, he has the opportunity to run away with the game. But
Mm-hmm.
he is playing against the immovable object that is Valka, right? This guy has been known to kind of just be like, hey, I basically will never lose you the game. I'll kind of just be that solid rock. I will always be like get some value out of top lane. But a lot of times, you don't expect a lot of times Valka to be the one to like 1v9 a game, right? He's very much a very solid neutralizer in the top lane, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times that's what you want, right? He wants to give the opportunity for Mustard, for Storm, to find the oh my goodness, to find the angles to keep moving forward, trying to get that damage out. Because I think if Valka is on his tanks, he does a very good job of buying space for his carries, right? And when you have
Mm-hmm.
someone like Griff, who's also going to just be causing a lot of commotion, causing a lot of ruckus, making a lot of plays around the map, I think having someone who is that solid rock for you, maybe if Griff goes for a play that maybe doesn't work out for him, it enables your team so well to be set up for success. And I think that's been what has led Lightning Sabers to get this far.
Yeah. As we jump into draft, it is a live Squad waiting the first ban from them. Of course, all the champions that you see picked, once they are picked, you're never going to see them again. So this first draft kind of sets the tone for the rest of the series, as we see Syndra banned away from Lightning Sabers, and Cho'Gath is the response.
And then there's that misfortune we were talking about, right?
Blue
Mustard has
side
been
ban is
known.
weird.
I think it is weird. I also think so. Everybody talks about it. That maybe is a sign of weakness from Squid Squad, right? If you're choosing to ban one of the strongest champions on the patch on blue, that means it's going to be a ban that you always have to do. And then
Yeah.
moving forward, we see rounding out the bands. They went pretty fast on us. Galio, Nocturne, and Gwen. I know that Rookies has been playing the Galio a lot, but Storm, he's also known to kind of be that enabler for his team. He likes to play tanks sometimes, and Galio's a good pick. But
Victor.
he is the guy, right? I think there is a good chance that that could go mid, but I'm expecting that it's going to be Squigs who takes it. The champion is so overloaded at the moment. Even with
Yeah.
nerfs, he is sitting around like a 52% win rate bot lane. He kind of just gets himself a free lane. You can just poke people out with your E. It's super hard to dodge. It's a solid first pick here.
And what's great about it is a flex between mid and bar, right? And if Cassiopeia is S plus in mid right now, I'll say Victor is S minus. He's just a shade below Cassiopeia. So the fact that they got that on the first pick, of course, really good drafting there. Kind of makes up for that misfortune ban as we see Lightning Sabers. We talked a little bit about it. Caitlyn coming in, kind of dissuading potentially a Jinx pick or a Corki pick. So we'll have to see if that Victor actually ends up getting flex like you think.
This is one of Mustard's favorite champs, right? Every time I've seen him
Mhm.
play it, every time I played against it, he does do well on the champ, right? I think you get a lot of value out of just that super long range marksman, right? You're gonna still be able to do damage eventually. Like, even if you aren't super far ahead, you're still gonna have value, right? You set up the traps for the objectives, you set up that R to get that pesky target that got away, right? And then when it's paired with the Sejuani, got that good lockdown, it's a solid makeup for a team, but in response, we see that Wukong coming out, which I think is probably going to be jungle, but I think that we have seen. Actually, no, 420 isn't a huge fan of it, but we'll have to see.
So an interesting top side potentially rounding out. If the Wukong is jungle, of course Victor could be flex, so we can't really say so far. But the Yone could as well go top or mid. So lots of flexibility in Squid Squad's draft. They're not wanting to show too much info here in the first half of the draft.
So that last pick for the Lightning Sabers there, that Tom Kinch, that is Griff's. Not gonna say one trick, but basically like that's his best champ, right? He has so much flexibility on the champ, right? He is such a good playmaker on it, right? When that guy is on that champ, he's just gonna 1v1 anybody in the game, and they're just gonna take it. And it's like, what are you gonna do, right? The champion is super strong. He has a lot of dueling power. And right now, this Caitlyn is looking like she's in a pretty good spot, right? She's got a Sejuani to protect her, a Tomkins who's just going to eat her and run away, right? And when you look at this kind of like semi-dive comp here from the side of Squids, right? They got the Wukong, the Yone. I'm not feeling too bad if I'm Caitlyn.
Yeah, and some Tom Kench coverage bands there. Poppy and Nami banned away from Squid Squad. Squid looks like they're going to pay attention to that mid lane there, potentially setting up either the Victor or the Yone, whichever they choose. So, so far, I've kind of enjoyed both these teams' drafts. Squid Squad kind of still shrouded in mystery. Gonna have to wait for the last two picks to see how this comp rounds out. But Lightning Sabers, like you were talking about, coming out swinging, just picking what they are best at. So we'll have to see if that's enough.
Hmm. I think right now that is really good pinching of the mid pool there from Storm, right? The Syndra's gone, the
Hmm.
Galio's gone, Ari and Oriana. Those are kind of like the best picks that you could have into a potential mid Victor. I think there is an opportunity here that Storm might go for a melee pick, but he actually just locks Vex, which I think that's really scary to lock Vex this early, to be honest, right? You are probably, I think there's a chance that Yone is top lane, and you
Yeah.
could get a really, really solid counter pick here into the Vex, right? I know
Hmm.
that there is a champ that Rookies plays. Smolder does pretty well into the Vex, right? Other champs just like things that are going to run it away. We probably won't get to see it yet. As Rel is the opportunity that comes out for Artemis here. Just
Hmm.
piling a little bit more into that engage. He doesn't care about Vex's passive. He's just going to pop the shields. He's going to go in with the magnetic storm, and it's just going to be. It might be curtains, but I really want to see what this last pick is for Squid Squad. Right? Is it going to
Yeah.
be a counter pick into Vex? That's kind of what I'm expecting. With how
So
this draft goes.
Victor Rel does have really good synergy in the bot lane. You Rel set up the Victor W.
Hmm.
You can't move. And especially if you're, it doesn't matter if you're Tom Kench or Caitlyn. When Victor starts doing damage, he does a lot of it. As Renekton is going to be what rounds out the comp. So it is potentially a Yon mid. Kind of a weird doubling down. They see the Vex and say, you know what, let's get countered even further. Odd in my opinion, but of course this is game one. You're coming out with your best stuff, so maybe that's just what they're most comfortable with.
Odd might be an understatement here. I kind of think, you know what? I think it's a little troll. I think when you see Vex on your screen, you look to potentially pivot the Yone top lane if you can. I know Fort 20 has had some games on it. You look to maybe just go with another control mage mid, right? Because just punish this Vex, right? You just set
Hmm.
up your champ. You have 5 dashers on your team, right? This Vex is going to get so much value. And I think there is the opportunity, right? Rookies could play well on the Yone, but Storm is a Yone like abuser. Not abuser, but like he basically plays a good amount of it. He knows the matchup. He knows what this Yone is going to do. So I really think this Vex got a little bit more value than it should have.
Yeah, I mean it does, but it doesn't. Like I'm of the opinion that Vex will be useful regardless of what the comp customer is. What I'm curious to see is Squid Squad has basically said we're gonna show up and hit R and we're gonna blow your team up. Now that kind of goes to the wayside if they don't get the feats of strength. You get the extra bonuses if you're able to pick up that objective. So if Lightning Sabers can utilize these counter picks that they do have for themselves, um, then Squid Squad's comps gonna have a really hard time showing up and blowing people up, right? Because then you're in this position. Well, okay, we sacrificed, some laning prowess, some laning potential, and now we can't do what our comp wants to do. So it's gonna be really important for Squid Squad to navigate this early game to nullify that. If Lightning Sabers gets ahead, they could just run away with the game.
100%. I will say though, if this Vex ends up getting put behind, right, they are very, very
Hmm.
much like they do not have a lot of magic damage, right? Vex, I've seen a good amount of it. It's like if you stat check the laner, you are a god, you're Thanos, you're gonna do great. If
Hmm.
you don't get ahead, I honestly think this Vex champ is so useless sometimes, right? It's more so like, hey, do you have enough damage to one shot with your combo? Awesome. If you don't, you're kind of just like you kind of have to play a peel style, which you really don't want to be doing as Vex, right? You want to kind of
Yeah.
going in one shotting people and like, who is this Vex gonna one shot at the end of the day, right? Like maybe
Uh,
Victor,
I
but
mean, yeah, but even with Victor, you're probably looking at an Archangels. So, I mean, unless he, like you said, unless she gets ahead, it's gonna be really hard to actually go in and one shot any of these squishy champs because there really isn't very many squishies on the side of Squid Squad.
Mhm,
Um, what I feel like is the first 10 minutes, we'll call it the first 15 minutes, is gonna decide the outcome of this game.
mhm.
It's really going to come down to can Lightning Sabers utilize these, Vex countering the Yone or the Renekton, Garen countering the other matchup. Can they utilize that topside pressure that they might present? to run away with the game, or can Squid Squad do enough to go even? Because if they go even, I think they win.
I mean, we'll have to see, right? As I think we're finishing up draft here, and I think we're going to cut to break, wait for that spectator delay, and then we'll be back for game one of hopefully a banger series. We finally made it here to game 1, but unfortunately it looks like the teams, they decided they didn't want to play yet as we are in the middle of a pause. But we still wanted to talk about the rune setup, maybe look at some of the abilities, some of the summoners that have been taken here. Righteous, what are you seeing right off the gate?
So the triple TP coming out from Squid Squad. I'm not a huge fan of the new TP. I personally think it feels clunky to use, but that's just because we were spoiled with the old TP. It's gonna have a lot of map presence, especially early. Now that you can just TP wherever you want. So 420 or Rickies or even Squigs, can get some pressure in their lanes. They could potentially make cross map plays early. Um, and then other than that, I feel like runes, sums, everything else seems stock standard. Nothing really is jumping out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
As you know, I'm looking at something interesting here. It seems like it's on 6 seconds, but it seems unpaused. So I don't
yeah,
know if you see the same thing.
it's just
Oh,
the
just being
bug,
silly, I guess.
spectator bug, I think.
Spectator diff. We have been spectator diffed on our screen, but still, it looks like
There we go.
looks like there's some action going on. Another thing I want to say about the new TP is, while I kind of agree, I think you can get some early shenanigans with it. It is so much slower compared to what old TP
Yeah,
used to be,
yeah, it feels bad.
right? Like it feels so bad. I'm trying to go back with like mid TP, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I would have normally gotten those minions. But still,
You
we've
see
seen a
an
little bit of
invid.
some early game shenanigans here, as it looks like the Sejuani is
Oh
leading the charge. They
no.
seem to find Artemis, but he's going to jump out here.
Ooh.
But right now, that's the only thing left in the tank, as they're going to just go back. Are they going to place the ward? They do on the red. So it looks like Poop Sock, or no, not Poop Sock. Iplock is going to potentially be spotted. They're going to know. But good response there from the Wukong
Mhm.
to get that deep vision over on the top side of Lightning Sabers.
Yeah, quick response. I don't know if Artemis usually goes W first on RL, saves themselves from that fear. Otherwise, it was probably going to be a swift death for the RL. So, no harm, no foul at the end of the day. Is Squigs does need to be careful.
I
Griffin
think
and
also,
Mustard.
yeah, you had to be careful, right? Artemis wasn't there to kind of hold that bush control here, as we now see that it looks like Squigs is gonna have to give that up, right? He takes a good amount of damage, and
Ooh.
it was just nothing in return here. I think a lot of that just comes down to, hey, Artemis was caught in that jungle there. He had to use his W, so he can't defend. And so right now, the bot lane of Squid Squad is already off to a little bit of a disadvantage here. We see Griff is doing a great job of holding on to this bush control, making sure that we don't see that advantage come out for Squid Squad, but right now, as these lanes are beginning to start out, we do see that while he is chunked here, the Squigs is a little bit safe. Victor is a very, very safe laner. He has a lot of range. He has a lot of poke. So I think he will still be able to take on this farm. But if you're going to be taking all of those Caitlyn keys, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. And I mean, this goes back to like what we were talking about in draft, right? I think all three lanes for red side should be pushing here early. Which on the new map, these feats of strength is kind of a big deal. Look for Poopsock Bossman to utilize the pressure early to maybe get into the face of the Wukong. Wukong not known for its early game, as we see some trading on the top side, but
And it looks like it goes the favor of Valka. I thought Renekton was going to have a chance to win it there, but we also got to look at the jungle pathing here. It looks like the Wukong is a little bit ahead on their clear, right? As they are going to get to their wolves a little bit faster, but they are pathing to completely opposite sides here, right? As we see, it might be a little bit of a pause. We don't know. Maybe it's just taking a second to catch up for us, but right now we're expecting to see that while
there you
Valka
go.
is pushing in, he's got to be cautious of the fact that, hey, there could be a Wukong in the area, but he has an Ignite, so maybe he could go for potential cheese play, try to get the kill.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Valka, you got the crash off. Just back, take the win. Maybe pick up a Cole. You have options here, but He might be overextending. We'll see. Wukong's getting close to being on
Not
his
here
top
yet.
side.
Oh, 420
Oh, the
might have taken
ignite.
a really bad trade here as we don't see the flash come out. Is he gonna live? He does. Barely, but that actually
Ooh.
might be good if Renekton TP's back in time and Garen can't get this
He
wave
can't.
shoved.
He can't. You can't do it with the new TP. The new TP
Oh,
is
you're
so
right.
buns.
Also, one thing that also messes with wave state is the cannon. Cannon wave now happens on the 4th wave instead of that 3rd wave, right? It kind of dissuades a lot of those cheater recalls that a lot of like top laners, a lot of mid laners used to go for. But now it kind of delays that base a good amount, right?
Yep.
As we now see looking as a potential cheeky trade. Now bot lane, as we see Artemis is potentially in a bad spot here. He's going to have to force the W out. Griffin is flashing in. He doesn't have enough damage, but that is a very aggressive play, and Artemis just barely lives by the skin of his teeth. But one thing we're not accounting for is the fact that Sejuani is kind of in the area. Griffin's positioning pretty aggressively here. As we see right now, Wukong, Iplock is on the mode. He finds Storm. Storm does not have the mana to keep this going. Is it going to be enough? The Q3 does not land. They're so close, and blood goes to Storm. Rookies, you can't be doing that. Storm, oh no, that's not what you want to see.
I mean, Storm was caught out, but Storm with the fancy footwork, dodging the Q3 from Yone, then flash queuing to secure the first blood kill. That was pretty good stuff to see. So that's 1 feet down. You only need another one.
1 feet down and a couple more in the shade. Hey, you know what? You only need 2 feet to keep yourself moving, and that's what's going to happen here for this red side, as they need 2 out of 3 to get it going. As we see Griff already kind of doing a lot of aggressive plays here. He went for the early base stop there on Iplock under tower. He's kind of just has control over the map at the moment, right? He's forcing out Artemis's flash. He's getting these objective trades, but on the bright side for Artemis, he does have his flash up. So maybe if
you guys are paused, right?
I am a little paused, yeah.
Okay.
You know,
I'm
yapping away a little bit, but yeah, I am. It does look. I'm in mid spin right now for Valka.
I was just making sure. I was like, oh man, like I feel like I'm missing out now, but no. Just another little pause there. Yeah. First feed of the day picked up first blood going to Storm, and we were talking about this Vex pick. If it went behind, you know, the trouble it could face. Getting first blood and a pretty good wave state feels really nice for this early game.
Oh yeah, we talked about it, right? This Vex is actually the opposite of behind. She is pretty far ahead, right? She already has that lost chapter, which is like, oh, the best thing ever if you're a mid laner, right? You get that opportunity, you can kind of just stay in lane for free, especially when you have that TP to make sure that Yone doesn't do anything cheeky with your wave. You're in a good spot, and I think right now, Lightning Sabers have a lot of objective control, right? They're up technically 400 gold. It seems small, but when a lot of that gold is on the Vex, who's already in a pretty heavily favored counter matchup, that gold lead is going to continue to grow exponentially here.
So we're just waiting for, I think, is a pause bug, but we're gonna throw it back to the caster desk here. Might look to try to reconnect and get this thing on the road.
I'll have to see. I mean, it's annoying. I don't know if this has been a bug with season 15 coming in. Right there is that bug. I don't know if it's an issue on their end. But still, like it's been a pretty hectic game so far in the best way. But I do hope we will actually get to see the end of it. To be honest with you. But you know, I think right now looking at it, we have seen that some early sums have already come out, right? We see that the Garen has already used his Ignite, which is kind of an advantage. We're not using the TP. But right now, with the way that the lanes have been set up, it's just kind of, we're kind of just waiting to see. Hopefully this game unpauses for us.
Oh yeah, I did. You gotta reconnect.
Oh. All right. Word.
We're just gonna get into the game. I'm gonna pause at 6:40, doing some stuff on the fly here. Do you want to let everybody know there was another kill that was found on the map? It was a return kill on mid lane. Rel actually picked it up. Artemis roamed up there.
Oh, I see him. You're at 6:40 here, correct?
Uh-huh.
All right.
As we see a flash from Valka.
You know, he said even though we were on pause, they were not on pause, and that is an insta flash. But now look, Iplock is on the move here. They're trying to set up a potential dive here. As we see the Q comes out a tiny bit early, in my
Ours
opinion.
do
Iplock is not
so much damage,
space,
though.
but that is so much damage. And that is a well played dive there. 420, he lives on 1 HP once again. And that is another pickup for Ippy Longstalking.
Squigs is on the bot side. They're trying to make that cross map play, but the wave isn't quite available to them. As
will say,
we
you got to be careful here. Squigs does have level 6, and none of these other members of Lightning Sabers have that 6. He's probably going to be able to look for that return kill as we see that Griffin goes in with the W. Right, the Arcane Storm lands. Poopsock is the one that's tanking. Griff falls. Are we going to see return kill? Poopsock is the one to take the damage. Artemis is here, but I don't know if he's going to have enough damage. Maybe with Aftershock. Actually, wait, this Rel with the minions is kind of throwing hands as we see the stun comes out. Is it going to be enough? We dodge the trap. Traps are being placed here for Mustard, but we see the flash into the Q. Is it enough? No! Land the lands! Don't let him out! Run at him! Get him, and he does! He lands the Q, and Artemis gets the return kill. Poopsock falls down, but now cutting over, we see the Shadow Surge land onto Storm. The Sword of Demacia lands. Rookies, you are gonna die, man. You don't have enough. And why would you Fate Sealed? You're already dead as another Shadow Storm! Shadow Surge! Storm on the Surge! He gets it done! And he lands it. Storm is on a massive lead at the moment.
Storm's ults are a little nasty there, but we see bloodthirsty Artemis on this rail, holding it down on the bot side. Top side of the map is all Squid Squad.
Even though Garen does have that kill, it is at the point where, like, Renekton is up a good amount, right? He's forcing in the wave. He's up basically 2 waves at this point, right? We look at the XP advantage. It's pretty massive for the Gator. This Instigator is going to cause a lot of commotion, right? In fact, he has TP in these situations. He's going to have the opportunity to get these forces out, go in, trying to get these trades off. But actually, Valka has the level experience. As we see Artemis over in the mid lane is in a bit of a bad spot. He's trying to buy space, but we see the Fate Seal land on a Vex, but a great Glacial Prison to buy enough. Storm is trying to buy space. He's having to go back onto the recall. Artemis lands a good rebuttal here. He buys enough time for Rookies, and it ends up being 0 for 0, but that looked a little hectic.
And this game's just been nonstop action, right? But so far, the beneficiaries of about 500 gold has been Lightning Sabers. As Iplock is here, does have 6.
He does go in, but he goes in with Clone, not an aggressive Clone, as we do see Storm is kind of pushing up a little bit aggressively here, but with no ultimate on Rookies, he goes in. Oh my, wait, does he? What?
Oh, no.
Why did he flash behind? That still counts as a dash. That gives Storm the opportunity to go in. Rookies is making this Yone champion look beyond.
Yeah, Rookie's off to an 0-3 start. Not what you want to see for this game 1 of the series here is Griffin.
As see Griff goes in with a really aggressive flash here.
Doing the Artemis impression, flashing for a kill.
Doing a great Artemis impression here. But now, cutting over topside, we're seeing a lot of aggressive plays. As with all of these skirmishes, we see it's about a 1.5k lead for Lightning Sabers. But we got to look at where this gold actually is, right? A lot of it is focused on Storm. He's up 1k all by himself. This Vex champ gets a lot of value. Cutting down bot side, the W lands, the Q into W combo, but the Arcane Storm, I think Griff is going to die. That's a 1-for-1. But honestly, I think that might be worth for Lightning Sabers.
Definitely worth. Looking at the CS there, you're already up 25 CS. It's only going to get worse with that missing wave. Artemis is going to be there to get the XP, but this Caitlyn already off about 300, well, almost 400 gold over this Victor. So Storm and Mustard Gas putting in work in this game 1.
We see Poopsock goes in for the aggressive play and he misses it, and he said, I'm going to blast cone out. Now, cutting over top side, we see a lot of contention over this Herald, right? You need to get these 3 objectives if you're going to get this feat of strength, right? I think it's a little bit hard to see who is actually up in the feat of strength. We got to look at the amount of grubs that are up. And right now, it is Squid Squad that's up on the objectives. They have 2, so this is a good denial here for the side of Lightning Sabers, right? Make sure they can't get that proc.
Kings were immediately coming out for the Dragon for Squid Squad, though. So a good cross-map play going to result in neutrals being traded. Caitlyn has to be careful here.
You do have to be super careful as Artemis is trying to buy enough space. The W does not connect. Mustard is buying enough space. But we see it's 2 members here, and I think you are a little over-aggressive here. Artemis, you have nobody behind you. Iplock is in a bad spot, and Squigs is here! The TP! You can't cancel that, buddy. You're trying to buy enough space. That's a lot of damage. Maybe the Fate Sealed is going to connect, but it's not enough. It only lands on a Mustard. That's not enough damage, especially when you're 0-3. This is not the play we want to see for Squids.
That's new TP diff, because he was expecting to be at that fight way sooner than he was. Squid just shows up and says, "Where'd my team go?" So what could have been a cross map trade actually results in a 1 skirmish for Lightning Sabers as well as another dragon. So they're gonna actually even up the objective bounty, or sorry, not the objective bounty, the feats of strength counter
I
there.
actually think at the moment it's actually tied 2 for 2.
Yeah,
on
2 for 2
on who has, so the feat of strength has not gone over yet to either team. It's whoever gets this next set of objectives who's going to get that, like, technically point that gets to the feats of strength, right? Because it's, I think, first to 3 like epic monsters. So I
Yep.
think the next objective that's coming up, if I'm not mistaken, is
That'll be the next
Rift Herald.
Rift Herald, I think.
So, but that's one's at like 19 minutes. No, it might actually be the next Drake. Because it's either next Drake, but anyway, that doesn't matter. As we see now, an aggressive trade here from 420. He is a level down, but with Artemis in the area, he has a little bit of security. But we see a lot of members of Lightning Saber moving over here. As we see the Sejuani and the Tom Hitch come out, I think they're biting off a little bit more than they can chew. As Valka is spinning to win at the moment. The Ignite comes down. Forcing out the Flash. That's a great W there from Artemis. I don't know if he's going to be able to buy enough time. Valka's trying to go in, but that's a great lance to stop them there. And it ends up being a 0 for 0 there. But a lot of map control here for Lightning Saber.
Yeah, and I know before the game I was
Wait
Griffin.
a minute, Griff. I think he might be in trouble
here.
here. If he doesn't get caught out here, if they cancel it, great cancel there, and 420 is able to pick up a kill. Griff, he's been going in a lot of places. He's been playing super aggressive. But he's got to be cautious here, as we now see Storm is the one in trouble here. Itblock is going on to Storm. I think you have to be cautious. That is a great flash there from Storm, but a flash in return. Artemis lands the lance. 420 is in there. Is he going to be able to find Storm? The Satyr Surge misses. This Storm is in a lot of trouble. He falls. That is another kill over to 420. It's a shutdown to boot. Right now, we cut over bot side as we see these two are fighting over vision, as they do. But now he finds Valka. Valka falls. Itblock finds the angle, as now just poop. Bossman by himself in a 2v1, and right now he's getting hit by the Fate Sealed. Poopsock Bossman is going to take up, but that's a nice double knock up there for Griff. He eats the pig. Oh my gosh, but we see Itblock is trying to buy enough space. Blown out. He might be able to survive here, as it's just Rookies by himself. He takes over the red. Is in the area. He's going to be able to find Griff. He lands the slice and the dice. Griff, you might be in a bad spot here, fighting 2 people, and I know you're strong. He's just going to be doing a lot of damage here. He lands the Q3, and it's not enough. And 420 just got so many kills. He's now 301, and he is a machine.
My eyes. So all I know is Lightning Saber said, hey, have this gold lead, and just took everything that they made for themselves and threw it right back to Squid Squad. So they're just playing a little bit too fast and too loose, and it was just chain death on chain death, and now we have ourselves a pretty even game.
Well, we look top as we see Artemis is here once again, but kind of down bot side. Great flash there from Squigs. Make sure Poopsock can't get anything done. We see Mustard. He is technically the one who is up a good amount of gold. He's up 200, but right now the only big gold lead that we still have is actually, I guess Storm still does have a good gold lead, right? He's up about 1.3. But now cutting up top side, the Renekton, he is up a 1k, right? This game is super close. And looking at Itblock, Itblock is also the one in the driver's seat. This Wukong gets a ton of value. But now we see a little bit of action mid here as Artemis just lands stun. I think you got to be careful as we see Itblock comes in. Itby long tucky. He finds the... Is he going to be able to get the Cyclone as he gets stopped by the Vex, right? The Vex gets the counterplay. As the W lands and it actually hits Ip. Shadow Surge is going to be able to land. We get a lot of value here as they're going to try to burst down Storm. Is Storm going to be able to get a kill? Oh my gosh, the shield is enough. The Shadow Surge is able to get that proc. Griff is just licking him to death as we see Artemis is trying to buy enough space. He's trying to get out, but Poopsock is here to buy enough time. He saves the day, the Aftershock proc, and that looks like it's going to be a tower for the Zyda Lightning.
Look at that. Look at what just happened in mid lane and tell me it's not League of Tanks right now.
It's League of Tanks. Oh my goodness. But look, man, you could say Griff has been running it down, which he has, but he's also been getting the job done. So this guy is all over the map.
He's all over the map, and he's making his presence felt one way or another. This game has been nothing short of chaotic, and you know, we were just talking about how the gold lead pretty much even up, and now we're back to almost a 2k gold lead for Lightning Sabers. So I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what to expect. All I know is the Rift Herald's up, and almost everybody is on the top side of the map.
But you know, the one saving grace of this Squid Squad team is 420 himself, right? He is slicing and dicing. As we see a nice trade here come out from 420. He pops the ultimate, he pops the Dominus. And I think, Valka, you got to be really careful here, man, as he doesn't have enough ease to go back in and kill that guy. But maybe If Artemis is in the area too, as we see now cutting down to mid side, Rookies does not have a tower. Poopsock is
Rookies
finding
is
the area.
dead.
He finds the Glacial Prison, and the Storm Surge lands. The Fate Shield is not going to be enough. Tries to buy enough time, but it's for nothing as Storm picks up another kill for himself. As we see Griff, he's just been going in as he pleases. As Shadow Storm lands. Storm, you were in a bad spot. You should not have taken that. As we see now, the angle actually, as he gets eaten by Griff, Valka finds the angle. He finds it. Storm picks up another kill. That should be another passive. Yes, we see another TP. Squid is here. He's in the middle of nothing. Actually, that Arcane Storm is massive. I don't know if he has enough damage here. Poopsock Bossman is the person who looks like he's going to fall next. No, Artemis falls. Griff goes in with the W. He's asserting his dominance. Itblock and Squigs have to retreat to their tower, but this is just massive wins on wins on wins for Lightning Sabers.
Yeah, and this is going to be the last feat of strength for Lightning Sabers. And, you know, you need 2 feet for boots, and the boots are going to be coming through and coming on strong. And, you know, I just don't know how... As we see some trades topside.
Gravity field land. Squigs kind of has the schmovement at the moment. I think you got to be a little cautious here if you're Storm. But Storm, he wants to play aggressive. He wants the angle. I know this guy. He plays feisty, right? He is looking for this tower. Griff, hey, you know who exactly is? That frog wants blood, regardless if it's his or if it's the enemy's.
Honestly, what a great skin that would be. A shark skin for Tom Kench.
Look, man. Like,
why hasn't that been done yet?
The Anima Squad, right?
Skin.
Maybe
yeah.
Anima Squad, they make him a shark. Hey, that could be an option. Like, they make him a bad guy. But still, as we see, now cutting down bot. Squid Squad doing a good job of finding what they can. As Poopsock, he's trying to get in here, trying to steal that drink. Oh my god, you lived on 90. That's really careful. Poopsock, you got to get something done here as we see the flash out to buy enough time.
Griffin's
right
here.
Now, it looks like Iplock, the Cyclone, is not going to be enough. 420 gets stunned. He gets blasted by Mustard Gas, and Artemis falls next to the Sword of Demacia. The Fate sealed out from Rookies, but it's not going to be enough. As now, over on the other side, the Glacial Prison lands. You know, I'm not a mathematician, but I don't think this fight ended up good for Squid Squad here.
The saving grace is that they did get the dragon and should be able to pick up that top tier 1, but this is all Lightning Sabers right now. 6K gold lead, sorry. Jumping out to a massive start after a little bit of a hiccup there at about the 15-minute mark. They started to run away with this game.
100%. I mean, you look at some potential saving grace here. I also will say, looking kind of at the build, I think that's one thing that Victors are kind of like still deciding on. Squigs ended up going with the Ludens here, which I think is not the move. You know what else isn't the move? The fact that you put your Gravity Well on Faker statue. I know you like Faker, but you should probably put it on Poopsock there, as Storm is going to be the person to pick up that kill. And right now, dude, he's unstoppable. He's in such a good spot. Like, look at the shutdowns here for the side of Lightning Sabers, right? 200 gold on Sedge. 150 gold on the Vex. It's so much gold. And right now, it's a 7K gold lead.
Did they get rid of objective bounties? As we see, oh my gosh,
They might have, but now Storm. Ooh, we see a good flash there from Storm. He's buying enough space. He's just letting that clone know who's boss. And right now, with only Artemis and Iplock in the area, but wait a minute, Valka is on the move. Valka is on the prowl. He finds Artemis. They are trying to trade. Actually, no, they just run away from each other. That's fair.
Griffin might mess around and 1v1 the mid laner.
Griff has never messed around once before in his life, as we see the clone backwards. Just letting him know that he could have gone in, but he chose not to that time. I think it's fair, right? Aplock knows that this game is tense and that you got to be careful, right? Will say though,
a trend I've noticed with this Otacon buff coming up, this epic monster. Every team that starts the monster loses.
Really?
So that's just what I've seen from my games.
I will say, Big Man over there. I think I'm gonna call him Big Man. I think it sticks. He does a lot of damage, right? This guy is going to throw hands, but you got to look at it. Some champions can outrange his kind of like effective damage range. Like you see Mustard is kind of just free firing, letting him do his thing, but there's just not a lot of space here. This is such an awkward spot as we see the Glacial Prison ends up landing, and now we see that Artemis finds the angle. The Fate Shield is going to be able to land there, trying to find Mustard. Is Mustard going to die? He's close to death as he's going to fall. That's a shutdown over to Renekton. This might be the fight that's going to get back into this game. 420 is doing a lot of damage. He's slicing and he's dicing, but now it looks like he's going to be enough. He finds Poopsock. Is Poopsock going to fall? Poopsock still lives! He barely... As
this
now
is the
Penta. He's doing so much damage. The Q was enough. What's he doing? That's a quad! Over to Renekton! And Griff, once again, holds his team hostage and takes away the pentakill from Valka.
Oh my goodness, that was a penta angle if I ever saw it. But, I mean, when it rains, it pours, and Lightning Sabers right now is just pouring it onto blue side here, and I mean, they got Feast of Strengths, they got Otacon. They're gonna pick up this next dragon probably, and they're
looking
almost
like
up to a 10K
botanists the
gold
way
lead.
they're. Yep, they're looking like botanists the way they're farming these roses. I mean, it's like they are so far ahead. Right? We haven't talked about it yet, but the bloody petals that kind of is like one of the features of this season gives you a lot of extra adaptive force, gives you a lot of extra XP, right? Gives you that early advantage over some of these teams. And when you're already snowballing, right? You're gonna keep snowballing harder, right? I don't know, Righteous. I don't know if you were in the area where it's been storming or it's been snowing a lot, but like
I
this
wish,
game
but
is.
no.
I think I haven't seen bigger snowballs since what I saw the other day outside
I,
my house, right?
I do have some friendly advice for Lightning Sabers. And just every league enjoyer out there right now. When you get feats of strength and you're able to pick up the boots, buy the boots.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not buying the boots?
They just don't know. They don't know about the boots. I also think maybe it's just some people don't know how to hit buttons on their shop to actually like look for items. I think they just look at the recommended and they're like, that one looks shiny, I'm gonna go with that. But you know, some of the other players, they did find their boots of choice, right? We see Garen has his boots. We see
That's it. That's
it's
it.
just
Garen's
Garen.
the only
Okay.
one.
And you know, hey, he was the guy who got the quadra kill. So I think that explains itself, right?
Yeah.
But we see now Griff, he goes in, he's gonna deny the potential Griff as we see Artemis is in a bit of a bad spot. Shadow Surge. He doesn't hit the second one, so we're not gonna see any return damage here. But you know, another weird thing about this this patch that I kind of haven't gotten over yet is Baron doesn't spawn till 25 minutes, right? Because I kind of would think like they took that objective, right? Oh, they're just gonna end the game with the Baron minion. There's no Baron in sight, right? As we see, they're choosing to go with Constellation Prize. That is this Hextech Drake. The Hextech Soul is spawning here. As we do see, that the side of Squid Squad, they did a good job of buying time. They got 2 Drakes for themselves, which is good. But I mean, right now, this game's kind of all over to the Lightning Sabers.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the comeback mechanics, it is a squad that wants to show up and hit R. But we talked about how these feats of strength, these upgraded boots are gonna nullify a lot of that damage potentially coming out from a just hit R wombo comp. Other than that, I think you just gotta look at maybe look for a pick on side with 420 Nip Block or Ruckies or
I mean,
you gotta make something happen because right now it's all Lightning Sabers.
a squad, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
you say they're like a Squid Squad?
Yeah, true.
Would you say this team, you know, right now I need this team to squad up a little bit more, right? I
Live up
think
to their name.
live up to your name, right? Maybe just hang out with the instigator that is Fort 20. Try to find Valka getting a little too confident, right? He got a quadra kill. He's probably like, I
Okay,
should've
they
got
heard me.
Pinza.
They heard
And
me. Now we're up
we
to 4 out of 5
the
boots.
squad is in a spot. Griff goes in with the W. He misses. It's just a field goal. He's going wide. As we see, the Glacial Prison also go wide, but the gravity field it lands on 2. As we see, the Ludens goes out. Oh, but Artemis gets caught. Never mind, he doesn't. He's actually engaging. As we see, Griff just yoinks his 80 carry, but Poopsock is taking a good amount of damage here. He's got to be careful, as Poopsock is not able to fall. But
Griffin's gonna
Griff,
get a triple.
he's kind of just asserting his dominance here. He's just buying space. That frog is so tanky, but we see the 2-man lance go out. Valka is in a bad spot here. We see them
Valka's
engage here
down.
from Artemis. Is Valka going to be able to fall? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage. Fort is in trouble. Rookies is here now. He's trying to buy space for his team. As Griff, I feel like that guy has gained health during this interaction. As we see that he goes out. Oh my god, wait, was that hard steal
just a little bit outside.
That's so much damage. This Griff champion is unleashed. I'm so surprised he didn't get banned, but Implock is here! And he leaves. I don't think he's actually going to have enough damage to actually get through this frog. And I think right now, when we look at the kills, right, it's 13 to 28. The gold
Storm's
is
on the
9k
hunt.
down. Squigs, you got to be careful, man, as he gets away. But Poopsock Bossman looks to be soloing Baron at the
Sejuani
moment.
solo.
I think it's a little tough, but when you got Mustard and you got Griff on the prowl, I think you're in a pretty good spot. But I just want to keep talking about it, right? Every time Griff has gotten this Tom Kench champion, he has been what I would like to call a problem on the map, right? Like he's either a problem for his team or he's a problem for the enemy team. And luckily, it's outweighed himself. He's outweighed the problems, and he's been a problem for Squid Squad here. As Mustard is aggressively trading here. Oh! But Artemis goes in for the engage. We see that the engage is not hit here. Mustard has enough space. Griff is going to fall, though. Short down goes over to Fort 20. Artemis finds the engage onto Mustard, but a Glacial Prison buys the time enough. And we see Mustard hands that massive crit. Artemis is the one who's going to be next to fall. We see the double kill. Ends up honestly being a triple. As we see Mustard getting the ace in the hole. Valka goes in with the flash into nothing. You know, that is a... As we see Garen, that is doing Garen things. He tries to buy space, but Squigs with the gravity field is able to buy himself enough time.
So just looking at this game one, I'm assuming, you know what assuming does, but I'm assuming that Lightning Sabers is gonna be able to close this one out.
That's fair.
Griffin on this Tom Kench just plays chaotic, and Squid Squad didn't really know how to play around it. Griffin was playing like so well on the margins of his champion that like every time they thought they were taking a winning fight, they were just getting coerced and taking a losing one. Um, just a chaotic playstyle that has just done wonderfully for Lightning Sabers, and I think going into game 2, you gotta take a deep breath and say, we will not be baited by Griff.
We will not be baited by Griff. Also, we will not be baited by a blind AD mid. When you have the opportunity to counterpick Vex, counterpick the Vex, guys. Like, I know, like, just, like, shut down the
Look at
champion.
this
She's
champ,
so useless.
dude.
As we see, just Griff is just hostage taking this game, right? He's just fighting the junglers. We see the Shadow Surge does not land as the W
fort.
almost lands there. But Iplock is running for the hills as now Rookies looks to go in. We see the Fate Seal does not land. I don't even think you needed a flash, man. I'm going to be honest. But Mustard Gas is on a rampage now as Rookies is about to hit his power spike. That could be an opportunity back into the game for them here. But still, Fort 20 is kind of just holding himself up top. He's kind of been like the one saving grace of this team, right? He hasn't gotten engaged, but we see, oh, no, I thought there was going to be some crazy shenanigans there. I thought Valka was going to somehow one-shot the Gator under tower, but right now it looks like it's going to be some hostage holding here as the members go in. Artemis tries to find the engage with W, but he looked like he might be in a bit of a pick. As Poop Sock is the one who's taking a lot of the damage. And now the Ace of the Hole, they're not able to block. As we see up top, the ultimate comes out. And I think the Renekton almost passed away there. But right now, it's looking tough for the
I mean, what do you do into the upgraded boots when you're behind with a comp like this, right? I mean, there was really no scaling outside of Squigs, and I guess Rookies, but I mean, they just don't have any damage.
Like, realistically, how it needed to go is that, like, we talk about kind of like Rookies dying on that, like, first blood there, right? That's massive.
And second and third.
Careful. And second and third and maybe ninth, but you got to be really cautious here. Like, you can't kind of just be coin flipping the game away, because if you coin flip a game, there isn't as much of a comeback mechanic as there used to be, right? They have made it their kind of priority to say, hey, if you're winning the early game, you should have priority to win the rest of the game, right? And we've seen that here.
We answered our own question. They actually still do have the objective bounties. It only takes going down almost 20k, but they do exist still.
It is still a possibility here, and you know, with Iplock on his wolves at the moment and this Drake up, I think it most likely is going to Lightning Sabers. I could be told wrong, but
Went down to 1 HP.
Looking at how this game is going to go, we got to look at what the next objective is that's going to be spawning here. And I think realistically, it's going to be that Baron that's coming up, right? But still, you got to be cautious. You got to be on the prowl. See what the opportunity is.
You say the next objective is Baron. I think it's the Squid Squad Nexus. I think if you're Lightning Sabers here, you're just playing to end. You have all the tools you need necessary. You have the level advantage. You have all the items. You could basically just run into that top side of the map, get that last inhibitor, and look to end the game. So let's see if they're able to close it out.
I think that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to group around it. But we see Griff, he's been having fun as he takes absolutely no damage. I think mainly that's partly because Squigs has Ludens, but you know, we're going to see as the Shadow Storm does land. He finds the angle here. Mustard ease over now in the fight as this guy is dominating. That's a massive Fate Sealed, but when it is on a 1 in 10 victor, I don't think it's going to actually be enough as he actually picks up. Maybe I was completely wrong. Rookies finds the angle here on the retreat as it ends up being a 2-for-1 for Squid Squad.
It is a 2-for-1, but it took everything in the kitchen sink to pick up those 2 kills. Storm, when they are up, does have the TP. It will be a net positive for Lightning Sabers.
Cutting down. We see they're having to play it slow as that final inhibitor has fallen thanks to Valka. And it looks like the team is having to retreat, right? They don't have enough in the tank. They don't have Baron. They don't have a lot of their damage with Storm and, honestly, Griff, to kind of, like, brute force this. But what you kind of do at this point is you kind of just brute force. You take everything that you
they're on a
right?
ward.
They might know, but, like, Artemis is kind of prone. They're trying to set it up. They're like, Iplock, hey, Iplock, get here. We want to fight it. But we see the TP come out.
The TP. Valka's in trouble.
Maybe he is, but that guy's kind of fast, and he doesn't tank a lot of damage.
Okay.
As
it feels bad.
Hex gates are some of the most fun and sometimes some of the most stupid things in this game. But, you know, they're always fun to watch, and I think it's a good addition. unless you're Squid Squad right now, you probably hate their existence. But still, like, is there an angle back into this if you're Squid Squad here, right? Just like,
Yes. There is an angle. It's Lightning Sabers all disconnected at the same time, and nobody knows, and they just play
I
and
think
run it down.
is flashing for joy here as we see Griff is just throwing hands. He is a higher level almost than the jungler of Squid Squad, right? Griff is just throwing fisticuffs, as I like to say. Like he's massive. Like you can't let that guy get ahead. If he gets ahead, he's just an extra carry basically. He's an extra tank for your team, and he basically doesn't even treat it like it's a right. But still, like, just looking at it, like, this Caitlyn, 8-1-9, right? The Sejuani poop sock. This is, I think, his first game, and he's been playing phenomenally here. 2-1-20. I honestly thought he would have died more, but hey, shout out to poop sock, man.
Poop socks put in work. Looking like that butter sock. It's an old.
He's throwing fisticuffs with the poop sock instead of butter. I would hate to be on the receiving end of that. As we see now,
Yeah.
Griff is positioning aggressively as he does, just trying to buy time for his team to potentially take this Baron, which I think they are. You know, this
So, this is
ahead.
one way that Lightning Sabers can throw the game with the Magic Resist Shred from Baron. This is a comp that wants to funnel you, hit R, and do the damage, but, I mean...
Oh my god, that
Baron
Baron
spawned and just immediately died.
She got eviscerated, and when it is triple inhib, I think right now this might be kind of a white flag waving from the side of Squid Squad. Maybe they're wanting to potentially position and get ready for game 2 here. Realize, hey, we messed up. We let Griff stomp Kench through. That's fine. Let's play for game 2, right? This team is strong, but we also saw that there were so many opportunities where this could have gone the opposite way, right? If Storm got hit by that Q3, there was an angle here where this Yone could have been unstoppable. He could have gotten away with so much more, but you just gotta have those micro mistakes end up adding up on you. And right now, look, it ended up snowballing, and right now it looks like that the side of Lightning Sabers are gonna try to close this game out here, as we see the inhibitors are gonna fall continuously. And right now, the Baron might be the end game here for.
All right, let's see what Squid Squad's got. They gotta make a final stand sometime.
We see they're trying to find the angle. 420 looks to be the one who's going to be aggressive here as we see to drop out here. Mustard is trying to buy enough space, forcing in this Baron here as we see that second tower is about to fall. Hey, they do respawn. If they can hold this for 3 minutes, they have a good chance. You see the Glacial Prison lands on the Rookies. Rookies gets caught once again. The Cyclone coming out. Fate Shield is going to be enough. Storm picks up the kill on the Rookie. Garen picks up the kill on the Iplock. He picks up a double. Picks up the triple, and right now it's just Squigs by himself, and with that Shadow Storm landing, it is a clean ace. Never mind, Storm died, but still a great and solid game 1 here for the side of Lightning Sabers.
Yeah, there was just that little hiccup that they had in the mid game, but other than that, Lightning Sabers ended up them game 1. But did they really win? Because Garen could have had a penta, but he didn't.
Look, man, all I'm saying is I saw in the chat there was a frog who put a smiley face there. You know, he knows he's the villain. He knows that he did that. Right? He knows he took away Valka Fenrica's glory there. And you know, I think there's a chance that the team, it ends up falling apart, right? Their mental, boom.
Yeah, dude.
Off of that option. Like, they were just so far ahead that we don't know. Maybe they are mental boomed. And this series, I think, has the opportunity just from that penta being stolen.
Yeah.
Reverse 3-0 for Squid.
Reverse 3-0.
Reverse 3-0.
Fun fact from this match, Squigs actually ended up doing the most damage in the game, though it never felt like you could ever notice. But yeah, other than that, not a lot of bright spots. I do think that if you're Squid Squad, you take game 1 and realize maybe we have to pick 1 or 2 winning lanes to be effective in this new season, because the pressure that Lightning Sabers was able to put out, unbenching the Kench, if you will, and roaming around the map and basically doing what they want was chaotic at times, but it was effective. And so if you're going to be on the back foot pretty much the whole game, it's not going to feel great. So we'll have to see if they make some draft adjustments. But Griffin can't pick Tom Kench anymore. It's off the board. So at least it left a lasting impression.
I guess the Kench has been benched, unfortunately, for Lightning Sabers. But I will say, there are some other champions that kind of fit that I don't care what you're going to do attitude from Griff, right? You got the Poppy, you got some other engage. Like, I think he plays Leona, he plays Nautilus. think Nautilus can do it to an extent, right? I think that is how you want to play this. Like Griff went absolutely nuts, right? I think also we didn't talk about it enough. Mustard, I think that game was relatively easy for him, but he got all the tools that he went and he executed on it perfectly. So shout out to Mustard. I do think though, if you are Squid Squad, you rookies, you gotta lock in a little bit, man. You gotta be a little more cautious here, right? They're gonna counterpick you hard, and I think if you don't have counterpicks in your back pocket, it's gonna be tough, right? You gotta be cautious here because I think he was going for those aggressive plays, and it kind of caught them in the butt, right?
Yeah, the Q3 into the flash and the death didn't look very fun for rookies, but
Mm-mm.
it's just game one. The saving grace is this is a best of three. So best of five, sorry.
We're in it for the long haul
We're
here,
in it for the long haul.
righteous.
But it was a little bit too fast and too loose in game one, so you got to tighten the ship up a little bit, and just know that first blood, though it was the slimmest of margins, is important to not give up. So we'll have to see how Squid Squad responds.
I
Lightning
think
Sabers. I mean, what do you do? Just don't have that hiccup in the mid game. Just play a little bit cleaner there. But other than that, it was a pretty good game from them.
honestly, it's just a play better angle, to be honest, righteous. Like you kind of just got to be like, hey, don't mess up micro.
Mm-hmm.
As we now see that draft has started. As producer let me know, thank you, Mr. Producer. But we're gonna probably see similar bans here, as we do see Squid Squad ended up taking red. So we do see the sides have switched here. As Nocturne is that first over for the side of Lightning Saber.
Yeah, Nocturne a champ that I don't know if it's fallen out of favor, but hasn't really been the highest of presence from some of the competitive league that I have seen recently. But it is an annoying pick. You turn off the lights and all hell breaks loose. So they don't want to see it coming out of Squid Squad.
You know, that champion is always spooky, right? I always say like, hey, that is one of the champs that like, and if you're playing comp, you have to have the most random comms, right? You're basically like me, just to kind of get an idea of who actually who got ulted by the Nocturne, right? As we see, I don't even think a ban. Am I mistaken, or did Squid Squad not ban there?
I didn't see a ban. Uh,
Um, it
they said
looks
it's
okay.
Syndra.
They did say it
Okay.
was Syndra, just to give you guys an update, which makes sense, right? I think it is one of Storm's best champs. I think he's kind of carried by it, to be honest. But you know, we did see he played well on Vex, and that's pretty good. But we see now coming out, we see Galio band come out for the side of Squids. I think it's good. I think Storm, like I said, he likes to play the champ. He likes to enable the team. But I also think it doesn't get as much value when you're banning Nocturne, right?
The
What are you
Squid
gonna pull up
Squad
to?
banned Misfortune again. They banned it on blue side. Do they think it's a red side pick?
Did we see the Misfortune ban?
Yeah, you
Am
remember
I crazy?
they no, they banned it on blue
Oh,
side game one. Squid
but
Squad
then
did, but now
I'm
they're on red.
I'm expecting they have to ban it here, right? It has to be your last ban, or
It,
it's just gonna get insta slammed by Mustard. Is it gonna happen? I'm almost positive it happens.
oh
No, they
my
banned
goodness,
Oriana.
I
Why?
don't understand. I don't
Why?
understand how
There's
people draft.
I'm expecting a misfortune herself to show up.
Now
And
Lightning Sabers can do the thing and pick it, but they don't. Okay, so maybe Squid Squad knew something was up. Maybe they knew Lightning Sabers
or
would go Maokai.
or they knew Lightning Sabers would go Maokai. This is another one of Griff's kind of like I'm gonna hold my team and the enemy team hostage with this. He's just gonna go do whatever he wants. I also think maybe this is a call out to say, hey, Squigs, you don't play Misfortune, right? You don't play this champion, even though she is pretty easy. So we're okay to go with this Maokai early. We're gonna have to see what the response is. I think I need to see Misfortune here if I'm Squid Squad. And as you see the Ziggs come out, you
Okay.
know what? You know what I'm saying right now? If I'm Storm, Mustard, you're playing Misfortune. Lock it in. As we see Smolder come out, that is probably gonna
Okay.
be Rookie's pick. It is one of his best. I'm gonna be honest, he kind of kicked my ass with it last week. So
So I
I'm
like it. I just don't understand why you would show it so early. Why not preserve the flex and make Lightning Sabers guess a little bit? Because you're basically putting your cards on the table right now and saying, okay, the Ziggs is going bot, Smolder's going mid. So that's a lot of information to give in the first two picks of the draft for
it
Lightning
is.
Sabers to punish.
You know, maybe we were just completely wrong in our read as we see Jinx come out. Maybe they just
It's a
scaling
bunch
with
of
it.
MF haters, I guess.
Yeah, maybe Misfortune just isn't as cool as we thought. But I think Jinx is a really solid, right? We talked about kind of that S tier 80 carry earlier, like before one. Jinx and Corki were amongst that, and we see Jinx come out. It's one of Mustard's favorites, right? That champion just feels so satisfying when she gets those resets. But now it ends up being to Diana. I have not seen
Okay.
Storm pilot this champion before. I'm potentially guessing this is a Poop Sock Bossman Classic. I don't know for sure, but I think it's solid. It honestly leads to potentially we're going to be seeing an AD pick here for Storm.
So Squid Squad got bullied early, and they've doubled down and picked 2 scaling champions. I'm just a little concerned about draft philosophy here for Squid Squad. Of course, they can round it out with a strong top side potentially, but it looks like they're just doing the whole everybody show up and hit R again tactic. So it's gonna be up to them to play safe early, or to at least not throw too big of a lead towards Lightning Sabers, because Ziggs and Smolder, if they go behind, especially into a Jinx Diana, I mean, what do you do?
I mean, I don't really know. I will say though, Iplock on this Amumu champion is a force to be reckoned with, right? He played against it in the series against Badgers Bozos. Rest in peace to the Bozos. Shout out to the Bozos. But still, he put on a really good performance. He was kind of one of the benefiting factors of why they won that series, right? And this Amumu is of that problem. But now looking over at the bans next, we see Artemis's pick is a Mundo. Dr. Mundongus to ban out Valka. They're scared that he might blind the champ. And honestly, I'm surprised you ban top laners when you're on red side here.
Um, Maybe they're just setting up for a red side top R4 pick, which could be the case. Which I guess you're trying to save that support pick for last. You don't want the Jinx to get prio there. I'm not entirely sure, as we see Braum banned away, and then Darius going to round out the banning phase for Lightning Sabers. But so far, Squid Squad doesn't have, other than the Amumu, of course, they're not very beefy, and they don't have a lot of CC. So I expect something like a Nautilus or a Leona to come out on this R4 pick, but they ban as if they're going to pick top.
Poppy is the pick here. I honestly think that's an Artemis pick here. He's been known to play it. He was an absolute what's the best word? A problem. When he played against it last week. He was absolutely running around the map. Maybe he wants to do what Griff did game 1, run around the map, cause some commotion, right? These are 2 pretty mobile sports. Also, one thing I didn't mention, Maokai has the opportunity to still go top. As we see, that's going to be the option here, is the really nice pairing there with Jinx.
Yeah.
As we see that it's pretty strong, right? Maokai is going to be a pretty good neutralizing top laner. There aren't a lot of top laners that just completely just destroy the tree. So we'll have to see what the pick is. I think saving counterpick for Fort 20 is your best move, kind of with looking at how he played well in game 1. But we got to see what is going to be a counterpick that kind of like salvages this pick.
I don't know, but it's gonna have to have a lot of DPS. I'm just looking at that top Maokai, and I've seen a few top Maokais in my day playing top last split. And Squid Squad, I don't know I don't know if they have the damage profile to deal with the fed Maokai. Eh,
So that Trundle is pretty interesting to me. Are they actually, is Diana mid their opportunity here for Storm? I think it can work into Smolder, but like I'm
I
kind
think
of
it's really
surprised.
good.
I think it actually, yeah, the more I think about it, I think it's good. I'm kind of surprised they went with Trundle. I guess technically there is the opportunity here, but the Volley Bear, this is one of Fort 20's favorite champs, right? Every time he gets a lead on this champ, is causing some commotion. He is bringing down the Thunder. He is absolutely going to cause some problems. But Valka, we actually don't know yet if it's going to be a Maokai top, Trundle top. I think both of those champs can go top or jungle. Trundle jungle has seen better days, but still, it is an opportunity, and I think it does well into the bottom half of Squid Squad's draft.
Yeah. It's gonna kind of be a cat and mouse here. I don't. Is it 45 seconds for lock in? In the in-game client for where people are playing. I don't know exactly, because if it's Maokai top, you definitely want that Volley Bear to match it as a counter. But if it's Trundle, I don't know. Do you want the Volley? Maybe Volley just stays top regardless. Because the Volley Bear is kind of like a pseudo counter to Maokai. You can sustain just as much as the Maokai, and if you do get ahead, you can run over the Maokai in side lanes. So I'll have to see if Lightning Sabers actually just flexes that jungle. and then moves Trundle top side. Um, I don't know. Looking at these two comps though, I'm just worried about the way that Squid Squad lost game one, it happening exactly the same way game two. Just because there's not a lot of early game agency baked into Squid Squad's kit.
I will counter. I will counter slightly. I think there is one early game option you have, and his name is Mr. Fort 20 on the Volley Bear, right? This
Okay.
champion, if maybe a Mumu, if Hitblock just waddles him his way up top lane, he throws the bandage on this Trundle, gets ahead. Volley Bear is going to be able to bite. He's going to be able to absolutely thunderclap on the tower. Boom, and it's going to be a potential angle where they're just going to go for that split push threat, right? You have this pretty like solid like scaling comp there. If they can kind of like turtle, play back, scale up, and let kind of like, take over, I think there's a good angle to get into it. But I don't know. I don't know. What am I here for?
Yeah, I mean, I will say 420 was like the lone bright spot in the early game for Squid Squad. So maybe that's what they're going to try to do is bring the Mumu top side, play for some pushing power on side, and get the volley bear ahead, be a silent menace, and roll with a 4-1 comp, which their comp does allow. Uh, I'm in favor of ease of execution. When I see two teams that are probably similar in skill level, I just look at the comps and go, which one would I enjoy playing more? Which one do I think would be easiest to
Yeah.
play? I feel like the nod for me is Lightning Sabers, right? You have a ton of peel between the Maokai, the Trundle, the Lulu. You have a lot of damage with the Jinx Diana, even the Trundle on on side lanes. A lot of beef, a lot of damage. I mean, I feel like the team fights are easier to execute. So we didn't talk about caster predictions last game, but my money is game two. Lightning Sabers picking up another dub.
You know what? I agree with a lot of what you just said there, Regis, right?
Uh huh.
On paper, right? This
Yeah.
this Lightning Sabers team, they may have the advantage, they may have the easier comp to win. But you know what I believe in? You know what I believe in? Is some magic, right? I
Okay.
believe in I believe in Salamander Smolder. He's kind of known for that champ. I believe in the Artemis Poppy. I'm going, you know what? I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna go with some magic here. I believe Squid Squad's gonna take
I thought
tie up
you were
this
gonna
game.
just say Lightning Sabers at the end. It made me
That's
laugh.
just give me. It's like the oh my gosh, who is it? Theo? No, not Theo. Pat McAfee. Just the give me Bama. But we'll have
Yeah.
to see. As I think we've seen that the champs are locked in. Trundle top, Maokai jungle. Kind of expected, but we'll have to see how this game ends up playing out. As I think we're going to cut to break, wait for that spectator delay. Give me a chance to rest my voice, as I bet you I'm going to be screaming a lot in this season. So we'll be back in just a bit.
But hate will always grow. There's a beauty in the way you lay, and the way your color fades. You stand out now with your imperfections. Oh, it was never meant to fall apart. It was not supposed to cause us harm. But these days, all I do is wonder, is about another we could start again. 'Cause in the pain there's something real. Oh, that anger so concealed. Still you're lost in how to feel. Just let me hold. Oh, that's severed heart.
We are back now with game 2 of this, what is hopefully going to be a banger series between Lightning Sabers, who are up 1-0, versus Squid Squad, who didn't have the showing. They won a game 1, but they're a opportunity to keep this game going. As we now see that we have 5 members here of Lightning Sabers looking to go for a cheeky top invade here on 420's Volibear. We're going to see if he eventually gets caught out. I think there's the
420 is going to
opportunity.
see it.
He might see
Oh,
it here.
wait.
As
No,
it
he
looks
moved
like,
back.
Oh, he moved back. He's not going to see it as Griffin is the one to lead the charge for on the
Slow
run here.
comes
But they
through.
don't have a whole lot of hard CC as Velka's kind of just going to have to munch away. But right now, 420 not having to use any sums. And honestly, that's kind of the best you can get out of that. I think right now, it's actually advantage over to Squid Squad in mind.
They did force out the Volibear from top side, so they're going to move into the red side here, get some vision down. But it doesn't look like anything else is going to happen, so... A little cheeky ward placed by Iplock on that red bush, but I think Maokai is eyeing the Raptors, and I think it's going to be his.
I think there is the opportunity for him to eye the Raptors. I think that there is not vision over those Raptors, which is something that's nice. But we actually see both Raptors are being prioritized here as Artemis is helping Iplock on this clear. Raptors are being traded for Raptors here, so good awareness here. But we actually see Griff is moving up, trying to cause a little bit of problems. But he's not able to get anything. As we actually Q land onto Griff. The flash. Oh my god! Wait, they're going so crazy here as we see the double Q land. Griff is in such a bad spot. That is a great response here. But now we see the poop stuck. Rookies is dead once again. Oh! That was just a flash to assert dominance, I guess, as Storm is able to pick up the kill. But right now, you know, this is already a banger start, and we see that first blood does go over to Artemis. As now we see Poopsock, he's in a bad spot. Artemis and Iplock are just causing gonna land. He's finding the angle. Cue the bandage toss, but
Griff's
Griff is
here
now
for
here.
more.
He is level 1. As we see the supports are level 1. The death. Now cutting over top side, we can see that the wave is not in the best spot here for 420. Actually, it's pushing into him. I completely lied, but right, we're seeing that this is pretty good here. Storm is going for these aggressive trades, but wow, what a lot of action already at the start of this.
Yeah, I think Griff forgot he's not playing Tom Kench. He also flashed and bonked his noggin on the wall, which always feels bad. But the first blood, I mean, it is a feat, right? And Iplock and Artemis were able to pick that up. So off to a better start than they were in game 1. Of course, the return kill on Rookies, who had a tough showing in game 1. Feels good for Storm, but Storm doesn't have TP, and the wave and the health situation for them not looking great.
I will say, yep, that is kind of... He does have the kill, but Storm has not found the opportunity to back yet, right? And I think you got to be cautious here. Finding the angle to that reset is what you need, because right now, Rookie's had that TP. He has grasp. He's just going to be able to get free Q stack, right? And if Storm doesn't find the angle to actually get back, have that HP advantage, he's just going to free pickings here for this Smolder. And I think that's realistically where you don't want to be. I think, honestly, if you're Storm, you sack a wave, you take the base, take the Walk of Shame back, you have home guards well on base, you get back a little faster. I think you need to base and use the fact that you have gold. Like, looking at his base, he's sitting on 900 gold just in his pocket. That's a lot.
Griffin needs to be careful here.
Now, yep,
Artemis took a big tower
in.
shot.
It's a little aggressive here, but Artemis barely does not live, actually. I thought he was able to pick up that kill. Lives on a sliver. Squigs is fighting to death, and I would say Lulu cuffs.
Lulu's also only
Actually,
level 2.
it's Q. The Q does land, and Griff is on a bad spot. Ooh. But the W does not land, and Squigs, honestly, is the benefactor of that trade. Even though Artemis died, he is in a good spot at the moment. As we now see Storm is going in. Storm, you have no mana, as Tyler once said. As we see Storm trying to trade aggressively. Speaking of trading aggressively, see that Valka and Storm are biting each other to death, right? You might as well call this a cat fight, because these two are biting, showing dominance here. Iplock is in an angle. He might be able to find that Q. I think if you went a little bit earlier, there was in, but still, I think he's doing a good job of making sure that for this. Oh, wait a minute, Artemis is here. Dude, they are doing a great job. If they can get this wave shoved in, Artemis on the return, the Q in. Oh my goodness, he's getting it done. As Artemis finds the kill, he is on a rampage this game, and Squid Squads are up top.
Yeah. Artemis said, Griff, I saw you running around crazy like on that Tom Kench. I'm just going to do it on Poppy. You're on a Lulu. You can sit with Jinx and lane all you want. So a lot more fight coming out from Squid Squad here in game 2.
But we do see Griff is doing a good job of still helping Storm base, right? That is what we wanted. Griff, even though he doesn't actually get the kill, he's buying enough space, buying enough pressure for his laner to get out of lane, just so they can go back and actually use that gold. But I will say that gold lead kind of isn't as strong as it used to be, right? Rookies needs to find a way to get back here. He's only down 200 gold, but if he gets this wave shoved, that's actually not bad for the Smolder. As we see, he's only down a little bit of gold. He's up a good amount of farm here.
Yeah, being down gold isn't the end of the world for Smolder. I think when you pick the champ, it had its limelight, several patches ago. Now I think you kind of reserve yourself to the fact that you're probably gonna die a couple times. We see.
Now, speaking of dying, we see that Valka's in a bit of a bad spot here. He's forced to ghost out, but with Implock also in the area, it looks like Valka's gonna die. Actually, that bandage toss might have been the worst, but the flash bite from Fort 20 is able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, but what I was saying about the Smolder pick is I think you reserve yourself to the fact you're probably going to die a couple times in lane, but as long as you're keeping your stacks up and keeping relatively close, you should be fine.
Artemis is here, but he doesn't have a wall to get the stun into. As we see Storm is actually going in. He doesn't get the 2-man ult, but Smolder, he actually... Oh my god, wait, he got murdered. As we see, Artemis is trying to buy enough time, but Storm, he does a lot of damage, and the Q lands. Now cutting over Squigs. I don't know how you ended up in this situation. Mustard falls next.
Oh,
as this
good
is
chompers.
not the turn. Squid
Squid's
Squad, you were
trying
in
to avoid
such a
the
good
chompers.
position here. That's not what you want to see. But Fort 20, he's going for the classic Fort 20 thing. He's trying to get back for the proxy, but that pillar, it blocks him. As we now see that he kind of took on a lot of damage. But actually, looking at the CS lead, it's a 20 CS lead over for... He is actually up a really sizable amount of gold.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse, right? He does have the TP advantage. So he should be able to pick up this wave, and depending on what Trundle wants to do, could lose out on even more. So we'll have to see. Looking at the feet tracker, I don't know why the new spectator doesn't really have anything for that. But it's even in epics, right? 3 gubs for Squid Squad, 1 dragon for...
At the moment, I believe
Sabers.
it is Squid Squad who is still in the lead, right? Because the 3 feats are First Blood, it's first person to 3, and then it's the towers, right?
Yeah.
So technically, Squid Squad still has that opportunity to get feats first, and I think right now the epic monsters are 1-to-1 at the moment. So this technically is still like Squid Squad. They didn't have as big of a lead as they did. Also, Storm, he's showing up. He's saying, "Hey man, I can blow you up with my ultimate here. It's kind of what I like to do. Hit him with the Moonfall." I looked that up just now. I'm kind of a go-to caster, but still, we're gonna see if he's actually gonna be able to land it, right? Griffin is doing a good job, kind of like buying space, like asserting his dominance, but with that control ward there, he isn't gonna be able to get too much done.
What I don't understand is Griffin had such a bad level 1, and he's up a level now on Artemis.
I will say, Artemis has been doing his best pilgrimage impression as he has been going on journey. Right?
Yeah.
He's going everywhere but bot lane, which, you know what? With how game 1 went, I kind of respect. I think it's not an awful thing to do. And they cleared that control, but actually great usage there to have another ward ready to go. Iplock doesn't know that he's on that vision there, as right now they're kind of just backing up, looking for the angles.
They're trying to waste his time, which is smart.
His time. Which is the name of the game is, hey, time is money.
Oh, the ward just expired though, so Griffin has to be careful. Backing up here, which is, I mean, any advantage you can carve out, it seems silly, but if you're able to waste the jungler's time, keep it from doing camps, it's good. But 420...
But time is not being wasted here, as we see that the ultimate comes out. 420, he's trying to run away, but you absolutely got murdered there. You had the goal. You have to be cautious. Did he have any wards in his inventory? 420, if you had wards, but now cutting over bot side. Well, where did that poppy go? Where?
Back to base.
I guess back to base, I guess he is getting it done, but it's not enough, as Storm is doing a buttload of damage, I will be honest, as he's already up 3-0-1. He has kind of evened out that CS lead a good bit, and right now the Dragon is kind of at a decent amount of stacks. He's kind of just hanging, with 57, which is okay.
Right.
Like, I mean,
you like to be 10 a minute, but
10 a minute is kind of crazy. I mean, isn't it kind of like an exponential thing? Like when you get to 5, you start farming a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But anyways, that doesn't matter. As we see that Artemis is on here, as Griffin does land the Q, just a little bit of poke, getting slow off his Storm. He's now setting himself up for success here, as he's got that Lulu with him. They are in trouble here. Rookies, he can stall this game out, right? We talked about it. The scaling on the side of Squid Squad is kind of nice, but you also got to account for
Artemis is
account for
coming
that.
down.
Oh no, he is hunting. He is like
Oh, he spot
Jaws.
out.
He is hunting as the shark, but it's not going to be enough. Squigs is not in a position to follow up on Gage. This Poppy is still level 4. He is just doing everything in his power to not get experience, which, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough, I guess.
Should be Grubs going over to Sabers here, though, right? I don't see a way that Squid Squad can really brute force themselves in. Lulu's on the top side of the map already. Falcons is already really low,
throwing
though.
fisticuffs, and we see 420 absolutely clobbered him there. But right now, Poopsock Bossman is the one who's trying to get these grubs. I think Iplock, I don't think you go for the steal here, right? It's not that match
You just
point
need one.
for the grubs.
You just need one grub, and you don't get the epic. The
As
epic
we do
counter.
see, Righteous, I don't know if it's all the same on my end.
Yeah,
My
it's
screen is
paused.
frozen. Gotcha.
Hopefully
So
it
we'll have to see.
fixes itself here.
I'm hoping. If not, maybe it's another reconnect angle. I love rat games, don't you, Righteous? It's the best.
Yeah. So honestly, you're talking about, if Locke goes, it might not be the best thing. He just needs one grub to get the Void Mites for his team and to deny the epic monster counter for feats of strength. So it might not be the worst angle if he can Q in, flash, and then secure himself just one. We'll have to see. Hopefully we see.
I think, yeah, we're going to try to reconnect to see if we can get back to a point where the game is viewable. That's what I'm sure hoping for. As I'm going to attempt to... Oh,
It just kicked me out.
it did just kick me out there. I'm going to try to see if I can at least go through the spectate. I can try to spectate their game, as I do have... Thankfully, I have some of these guys added, which could potentially be our saving grace here. Let me see what I can do on my end, maybe. As it looks like I'm potentially back in the game. Actually, it's... Okay. I'm potentially back, but still, I want to be able to see, as I've gotten back into game. Righteous, do you need access back into the game?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what I can do. I will stream my screen. I'm going to 12, you said? Directly at 12? Gotcha. All right, I'm at 12:01. Okay, I'm at 12. 2,
All right.
3. We good? All right, perfect. We are back into it, guys. We are sorry for that delay. Riot Games is always making our job a little interesting. As we see 420 and Velka are trading a little bit aggressively here, as 420 is kind of clobbering him here, right? He already has his Cosmic. Pretty good spot. But right now, we cut over as we see the Unstoppable Force is going to land. 420 is going for the kill here. I think there's the threshold here. As we gets him, the solo kill for 420. He finds the angle that he needs, and right now, hey, I keep saying it, 420 is the answer. He is the person. If he gets that lead, he's going to be able to buy his team enough time to go this scaling comp.
Yeah, it's curious. Is it not Roa Rush anymore on Volibear? As Griffin's caught out here by
But we'll have
Artemis.
to talk about that later. As Artemis does find the angle with a bandage toss to...
Oh, 420 is
420 is here! But Storm, he's trying to buy enough space for his team. Rookies is buying enough time. He's going to be able to land it, but 420 falls. Storm
Jinx
gets
is excited.
But Rookies is kind of doing a lot of damage, but they got to be careful of Mustard. Artemis, you win it a little.
Jinx is excited.
Rookies, bandage toss lands, and Block finds the... Squigs picks up the kill onto Jinx. That's a massive, massive shutdown. And right now, even though it's Storm and Valka in the area, they have to be cautious as Rookies. He picked up a good amount of kills, but right now, that Amumu, he's feeling pretty happy about himself. As we now see Rookies is looking to be zoned off of this dragon. They're making sure that it's a take, as Iplock is forced to back up, and now it actually looks like this might go over to Lightning Sabers.
This
Valka.
dragon gives 2 feats of strength.
You're right. This is important to steal. I think Iplock might try to go for the angle, but they're
They're forced out. They're just going
able
to give
go
it.
back in here.
Great Maokai ult.
As we do see the feats of strength should go over, and now Valka ulting Iplock, but they find the angle actually, maybe? Wait a minute, that's actually, even though he dies, I think that's the angle. Poopsock fall. But no, 420 just flashed to let him know. But right now, we see that Valka's on the run. The troll is in a spot where he needs to get away. As we see, great ultimate there, forcing out Griffin as the stun is going to land. The troll is stunned. Rookies is here. He's breathing. He's spitting flames. Letting him know Artemis gets done. Not this time, but he does pick up a kill for himself. And right now, even though the dragon falls, the feats of strength is down. Squid Squad is still up 1.5k. But Putting over top here, or mid here, we see that Mustard has unlimited access to that tower, and that's also going to be first turret. But now cutting down bot, I can't keep
What
up.
the
There's so
heck?
much going on as Griff is, he's fighting, but 420, he threw down the ultimate.
How did Griff end up there?
I don't know, but you know, Storm, oh, I
that's
think
a
that
dead
might be enough
Artemis.
to kill. It looks like Artemis is on his own. 420, you got to run away on all fours. The bear crawl is invented for a reason, and you do it super well. You got to get away. Right now, you're
So-
up 40 farm. Go ahead.
Oh man, I'm just so confused. I'm not confused. I'm so curious.
Oh,
what game state is
speaking of,
better
he
here?
finds the sneak attack there onto Storm. He gets the combo. He's getting his press attack procced. I think that is a dead Diana. The Moon Lady is going to fall. 420
Run
lands
to
the
your
stun, and
Maokai!
the stomp. As we see, Maokai is not going to be time. But even though Ippy Longstalking was going to be there, he was going to throw the bandage toss, make sure that that bear was unprotected. That bear is oh my gosh, what's it called? He is on.
Not using a Trojan.
No. You know when like animals are like protected by like they're not endangered. Does that make sense?
They're not on the list.
They're not on the list. That bear is not on the list because he is not endangered.
gonna die
The
here.
person endangered is okay, Valka,
What?
you. I was doing a fun monologue. I don't know why you had to die to them. And right now we see Rookies has his Essence Reaver already, and he actually has some gold on his pocket. You know, maybe my prediction was a little bit right here, Righteous. Game's looking pretty
Yeah.
good for Squid Squad.
It is looking pretty good. I'm curious to see. So
But
Sabers is 2k down, but does have access to the feats of strength.
Artemis forced to flash out. Actually has the
Wow.
great use of the blue buff there, but Artemis is running for the hills. He does Deadman's Blade.
Artemis
He's
is
gonna go
out.
catch, but it's just Iplock by himself. But right now with Squigs backing you up, you have a opportunity to get away. But cutting over top while that shenanigans was happening, Rookie's picked up that top tower, which is massive. He has a lot of gold. Looking at his dragon stacks right now, he's at 134. And I think you got to think about it when you get
Yeah.
that 125, where you get kind of like that extra fire blast, basically.
Cone damage. Yep.
Yeah, extra cone damage. You kind of stack a lot faster. So I think that this guy is gonna hit 225 pretty quick. But you got to be careful. Though Storm will
Ooh.
still one-shot you regardless.
Yeah, Storm does so much damage right now. It's kind of disgusting.
Oh, 425's the angle. The pillar is in
Ooh.
the way, but I think right now this might be a dead
still dead.
trundle on my screen. But now cutting over topside, we see Storm forced to flash out. He gets hit by the ultimate, and we see the bandage toss land. It's not a kill over to Rookies, which could have made it best, but I think he might have the kill here over on the Poops Man. Himself, Boss Man is in a pretty bad spot here. I think you give it to Smolder. Give it to Can. This is a dead but never mind, Artemis just took it for some reason. That's fine too. Now cutting over to bot side, we see that 420 is fighting for his life. I actually think he 1v2s this. Never mind, he decides he doesn't want to, as he's going to ult out there. And now we see it ends up being a 2-for-0 for the side of
Yeah, some sloppy play coming out of Sabers here. They think they just got to regroup and figure out what they're trying to play for. Because right now, you got Valka kind of doing
well,
whatever.
he just pillared in his face and he said, nope, we're getting away this time. Pillar is actually a very underrated ability. It has so much value. It can stop your team's recall. It's awesome.
All right, this is gonna be my prediction before you show me. Is Volibear 2.5k up right now?
We're going to see with my magic button if I have the opportunity. No.
No,
He's up 1.6.
1.5k.
1.5.
Okay.
You know, you were only off by 1,000. That was
Only.
pretty bad. But, you know, like, it's okay. I'll forgive you this time.
It's pretty
But,
bad,
you
yeah.
know, still, like, it feels like it. This bear has been super oppressive, right? He's going, I think, Rift Maker? Question mark?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Rift Maker here. So, I think right now that bear is going to be doing a lot of damage.
Ooh.
A little nice and clean there from
Nice shutdown.
Storm. Rookies was a little bit, he wasn't paying attention there as he gets hit by the double E into the R, and that is a dead dragon on my screen, right? That's a shutdown
Yeah.
also over to Storm, right? Storm is kind of the saving grace of this team, right?
Volibear's running him down though.
Oh, the bear is trying to find it, but luckily there's a troll to make sure that he's okay. Look, he's just standing there menacingly. He's not even going to farm the bloody petals. He's just going to let him know who's boss. Maybe Valka just doesn't know what those do. You know, it is the new season, that's fine. But,
I guess.
you know, I feel like when there are free stats on my screen, I'm usually the first person to take them. But you know what? Maybe I'm not the expert. Who knows?
Yeah, you're just greedy. That's all that is.
I guess I was just a greedy guy. But you know,
So
go ahead.
looking at the actual like map state here, if you are Sabers, you don't have to play for this dragon. You already secured yourself 2. You have the feats of strength available. Plus, Otacon's actually going to spawn on the top side of the map, so you could look to split the map and play for that objective. But It doesn't look like Squid Squad wants to start it up.
I
which is
think
interesting
right
to me.
now, with the positioning of these teams, Fort 20 has absolute control over the side lane. He's up 50 farm. He's up a lot of gold
I would,
on
I
this
would,
guy.
I would send 5 people up and try to kill the bear because
I would try to kill the bear myself. Yes, I think that
Yeah.
is your best bet. But right now, it looks like Lightning Sabers is fighting over mid control, which is fair. But when Otacon is spawning top in 20 seconds, I think they're looking to go for this dragon. But we see a TP come out from
Actually
420.
reset.
He might look for a potential play, but actually, they
Uh-oh.
see him fly by. We see Iplock. He might have gotten caught out, forced to flash early, but we see that Griff is sent out of the zone. Never mind, that's actually Maokai. Poopsock is the one flying away. We see some ultimates sound out. Poppy used the ultimate there, as well as Ziggs used the ult. On the other side, we see that Maokai ult was used, so there are a couple good ults still left alive. Primarily this Amumu ult. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is a very, very good ult, but it looks like right now Poopsock is going for
Whoa,
this
what are we
steal, but
doing?
he's pushed away.
Why?
Poopsock! He goes for
Oh,
the
he
flash,
almost
he
got
goes
it.
for the steal, but I think that's a little over ambitious, my friend. Right now, Lightning
Look at
Sabers are
mid,
doing
though.
their best to try to get mid priority, but you got to run away. As we
Got
see
tier
Squid
two.
is running over, but right now, maybe the one bright side is the members of Lightning Sabers are a good spot to potentially go for Otacon. I don't think they have enough damage, though, to
No,
burst
they don't.
super, super fast. So
I
you gotta be
actually am
cautious.
reading Twitch chat. It was a good catch. No Unitals on Jinx means you're shooting pebbles right now.
Yeah, I mean, but when you shoot pebbles, you're at least shooting a lot of pebbles, is kind of what's going on, right?
Yes,
And then when you have a
that's
Lulu,
true.
you're shooting extra pebbles. It's
Def-
basically like, have you ever seen the movie Elf?
Yeah, death by a
You
thousand
know the
snowballs.
snowball scene? Yeah, that's basically what I'm
Yeah.
imagining this Jinx as right now. But, you know, speaking of snowballs, big man himself, Otacon, is throwing him out. He's doing a lot of damage, but I think you
Already
got to be
half
careful.
health, oh.
Now see, Valka is actually
Shuttle
TPing
just
to
TP
the
once.
other side of the map. He said, actually, I don't care about this objective at all. Oh my gosh, I actually... Mustard's rocket stole it, but hey, he's only throwing snowballs. He's not throwing pebbles. But we
He
see
didn't
the
even throw the
roses
rocket.
are being contested. Artemis is in a spot. Oh, rookies,
Oh,
you absolutely
goodness. This is
overstepped
the
there.
team fight.
Wait a minute. Oh no. Oh no. Iplock and 420 are the only people alive. That is such a bad position. Oh no! Oh no!
Flashing into the rocket, never
What?
a good look.
Why did rookies position like that? He just gets caught instantly by Storm, and now it's just Squigs left alive. They get Otacon, but now the gold lead is in the favor of Lightning Sabers. Oh no.
No, is right. They already have the one dragon lead. Valko, actually, the TP looked troll, but was able to pick up a tier 2, knocking on tier 3. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is in mid lane as we have a pause come out.
This one
Otacon
is an
went
actual
down, but
I will say also,
What
do we know
cost?
do we know what Otacon it was? So I know that there are
No
two
idea.
Otacons on them. Like I'm gonna see if I can hover over to see what that
Probably when
actual.
it's not paused, maybe.
Yeah,
If you click on one of them, you should be able to see their buffs, right?
I
On
think
like
so.
Squigs or something.
Yeah, but you know, I'm paused, so I'm kind of like held hostage by this team. You know,
Yeah, true,
I
true.
thought Riot pausing was the worst, but when the actual members of the teams pause, it makes it even worse. What can we do, right? Just like, oh my god.
Yeah. What a turn of events. Squid Squad was doing everything right up until that lost team fight. They did get Icon buff, so
It is the Crown of Carnage. So it is, for anybody who's new, the Crown of Carnage, what it does is it gives 25% of like the enhanced epic monsters that you've gained.
Poopsock has to be careful here.
Oh. As my screen might be a little paused, as we see Poopsock is in a bit of a bad spot at the moment. I'm looking to see if it'll unpause. If not, I might need to reload back in.
Yeah, it's just the regular spec delay, I think.
Okay, gotcha. As we see, yep, it's back to it now. As Artemis is throwing hands with Doc, but he is 3 levels down, so he's got to be cautious. But Squigs is actually throwing hands, but he does have Aftershock to keep him alive here. As we see. Right now, you got to be cautious. Artemis is. He's been putting in a lot of work. Even though he has 6 deaths, I feel like he's enabled a lot of the plays around this map. But right now, it's just that fight around Otacon is absolutely massive. But Iplock. Never mind.
Got the
Game's
blue.
won. He got his blue.
Yeah, got the blue. I'm curious. It is a best of 5, so regardless of the outcome of this game, we get another game 3 here. What is Squigs play once all the mage bot laners run dry?
I don't know. I've seen him play Caitlyn. I've seen him play Ashe. I've seen him play other mages. But I think there are a lot of mages in the tank, right? I think I've seen this guy play Seraphine. Seraphine's still pretty strong at the moment, especially if you're banning Braum, it's an option. I think it's honestly what you want to play around, right? I've seen say it best. Rookies has had his int moments, but I think he does best when he's on these AD mids, right? But right now, speaking of some mid laners, we see that Storm is buffed up here by Lulu, but he's not able to catch Mr. 420 as he escapes. But they're looking for some aggressive pings as they are all pinging onto Rookies. Maybe they're looking for aggressive play. Oh,
Griffin needs to back up.
Yeah, but 420 is moving. Valka does cancel his base. Good call there. But now, right now, Rookies is uncontested on that dragon.
That tier 2.
Yep, he's doing a good job of just buying enough space, making sure they don't get to base free. As right now, I'm wondering, has Rookies gotten to the magic number, 225? He's only at 183. So this team is still scaling, right? They have the opportunity to keep this game going, especially when you get free access to side lanes. You're going to keep scaling up pretty high. But, you know, we said this Jinx was throwing pebbles, but she's got Infinity Edge.
The IE now.
There's starting to be some pretty big rocks that are being. You know who's throwing rock is 420 as he is biting away, just half healthing Valka. As we see, Iplock might be in the angle. The Q does not land, but he's going in. He buys enough space. As we see, Squid is able to get that kill off with the Sarbomb.
Great ultimate.
I don't think that's what it's called, Mega Inferno, but that's a good play. They get the tower off of it, and right now, Squid Squad, even though they had that bad fight, they brought it back to an even game here.
Yeah, got both tier 2 outers on the side lanes. I don't know. There's something about you get a buff basically for free. I mean, you worked for it. You got 2 feats of strength, and then nobody buys the boots. I just don't understand.
Oh!
Swing and a miss.
Artemis is in a bit of a bad spot at the moment. He was going for some wards. He was going... I think, honestly, that's not the worst death. Look, 420 is applying so much pressure. They're trying to stop the bait here from Storm, which they successfully do. And 420 is absolutely throwing away at this tower. They're looking for an angle. Honestly, the side of Squid Squad, they just need to buy enough time, right? Iplock just solo killed the Diana, but as it looks like Iplock is gonna not die to the Ignite. That's so big. Actually, he dies to the Mega Inferno
Those
rocket.
are heat-seeking.
Super Mega Death Rocket, I apologize. As we see 420, he had to run away as Trundle does buy himself.
Gotta get this mid inhib though. They're running down towards the smaller, but I feel like the play is just pick up the mid inhib. They're going Drake. They're
going for the Drake, which I think it's okay. You're buying enough time, not giving over soul, but he's just trying to buy enough spaces. We actually see the TP come out from 420. They're trying to collapse on this play, but you do not have your jungler here. They're going for the play. They're finding it, but they just engaged on the Rookies and guys too fast. Rookies. You need to be playing with your team. As we see, Artemis goes in, and he doesn't find the thing that he wants. This Mustard guy is unleashed. Oh, wait, is it the turnaround? They find him, they clobber him. Squad to pick up the... It's just 2 members. This is forced to flash away. Artemis is trying to buy enough. He should give Squigs the opportunity to... But he doesn't. As Squigs is looking to fall, he tries to... It's not going to be enough. Artemis is going to be the... And right now, Poopsock picks up the kill onto Artemis. They look for the play. Is this potentially an end angle for Lightning Sabers here?
I don't think it's an end angle, but it definitely could be a Baron. This is if Squid Squad lose this game, this will be the story of 2 lost objective fights. First the Otacon, and then seemingly just throwing their bodies at random for that dragon. It was a dragon that didn't really even have to contest. They had 1 more to give. But that might end up being their downfall.
But
Storm wasn't even
is
there.
On the hunt. Iplock is on the hunt. He might potentially look for the steal. As Valka's doing a good job of buying himself time. But he might have gone in a little bit too early. They're going to try to burn Iplock here. But actually, maybe Iplock's going to burst him. Never mind, he's going to die. But still, he did a valiant effort there trying to get that Baron. Right now, the gold lead, they got the Baron, but it's only up 2K. This game is still anybody's, right? We just need... I need this Smolder to get his gold. I need him to get his stacks, right? He's at 216. He's like 2 waves off, man. I need this Smolder to be unleashed. I also need to not be positioned horribly so that he can actually continue to fight in the...
You don't want Smolder kissing Maokai on the lips?
I don't, man. He's just showing up to Maokai and saying, hey, man, and this tree is just engaging on repeat, right? Poopsock is doing the best Buttersock impression we've ever seen. He is throwing hands. He is throwing fisticuffs. And Artemis, right? We talked about how he was getting a lot of leads early, but I feel like he's kind of been caught out a good amount of times, right? We need this team to stay together. We need Artemis. We need Iplock to buy his carries enough time, right? If you can keep these fights going, but look at Mustard. He's 8-2-7. He is problem, to be honest.
Work. so is this Diana. This Diana already having 3 items with the Zonia is gonna look to explode teams and be safe while doing so. I just don't understand why Squid Squad they had such an advantage with this Volibear over the Trundle. Why didn't they just try to keep force that macro play? You know, why not just let the Trundle wreak havoc on sides and then go from there? The world will never know. Just like how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
It's not possible to know, to be honest. But you know what is possible? Looking at this Jinx, who honestly at this point is kind of unleashed, right? She has her completed item. She has those feats of strength boots. Right now, you kind of have to just play around 420, trying to find an angle. But at this point, Valka can kind of just play it slow, right? He can kind of just play it.
He could.
But actually, Valka's playing it like he might be able to win the fight, as members of
420 is playing it
are-
like he's gonna lose.
Oh, I don't know. I think you can win some fights. I don't know if you can win this. Especially, potentially you can win this 1v2. No, never mind.
No,
You're losing
no.
a lot of stats here. You got to run for the hills, man. But when he falls. But actually, cutting over topside, Smolder picks up the kill onto Diana. Actually, not a bad trade. I think that was a shutdown and goes into the pockets of the dragon. And guess what? Righteous. He's got 239 stacks.
Okay. At that.
So, you
I
know what that
mean,
means. This Smolder, he could do some damage, maybe. As we see, Artemis is going in for the Hex Smash, but they finally...
ooh.
They're trying to find enough space. Mustard is untouched in the backline. Valka is down, but Iplock, he lands this. Rookies have enough damage? I don't think he does. He's trying to buy
great
space.
flash.
Iplock falls. Mustard is getting so much healing. Right now, Squigs and Rookies are the ones that are up. They are the people who can do some damage, throw the fisticuffs that they need to do. But right now, Mustard is healing up. He rockets. He is throwing the thunder. Those snowballs are no longer snowballs. Man, I think they have razors with how much damage they're actually doing.
That's a horrifying thought.
know.
Yeah, I mean, so what I will say is we are seeing improvements from Squid Squad. The early game looked a lot better. It was just 2 ill-advised team fights around Otacon and then the 4th Dragon that really threw this game out of whack for them. Thought they were going to be able to do what they were trying to do, and despite giving up the feats of strength, scale with this Ziggs and Smolder, and then just ride off into a Game 2 victory. But they're just playing a little bit too fast, I think. I think they just need to slow it down, let Ziggs get some poke off, then look for the executes with the Smolder, with Iplock locking everyone down. Just hasn't happened that way. And this
not.
game's quickly getting out of reach.
It is getting out of reach, and I mean, you look at the gold leads at this point, right? Squigs is down 3k, basically by himself, right? I know Ziggs is supposed to scale up, but you're they're playing into a Jinx with a Lulu. It's tough, and realistically, they're only 80 carry. He hasn't had the best game, to be honest, right? He's had the opportunity. He just keeps getting caught out before he be group team. Right, that's the way you have to play. Is you need to be going for coordinated 5v5s and sticking up coordinated 5v5s. Iplock is in a bit of a bad spot here. Artemis is trying to buy enough space, trying to get the knock
back
out,
on.
They find the angle. They actually find Mustard. Is it going to be enough damage? I think he's kiting back. He's going to be here. He doesn't actually get the reset though, as it looks like they're going to find inflation prize, which is pretty nice. But I think there was a lot used there at a Squid Squad there on the fort. Right, Rookies is untouched though. I guess other than that sapling, but still, they have the opportunity to kind of keep going. But still, there isn't a whole lot of objectives up, right? You got to be still cautious here. Poopsog could find the engage that he needs, right? He doesn't have flash, but you know, still, a root is still pretty scary. As we see, they're trying to do a good job of trying to defend the base, right? Mustard was able to get that back off, but Storm, he falls, and right now...
I mean, he
it's
does
tough.
fall, but it's... I mean, what can... Realistically, what does Squid Squad get here? Top's already... I mean, maybe you could try to put pressure on that open inhib, but... it doesn't look like anything else is going to come from that death. 8 seconds left on that Diana, and Baron's not up for 50 seconds, so what do you do?
To be honest, I don't know. You kind of hope that maybe one of the members of oh no, I think you might have gotten yourself in a bad spot here. As it's looking tough, 420, you've been known.
TP's
Okay,
coming
just,
out.
field goal. Wait, we see
Amu's
Ziggs
here.
actually going for the play. It might be too late though, as that TP nerf honestly came back to bite. As we see Solder is coming up here. 2 members are already down. This is not good though, as they're backing off. They're not even going to engage here. Rookies is level 18. He has a sizable amount of gold on him, but like, also Baron's coming up. Fort, you can't be getting caught like that, man. You are
Yeah.
the potential win con for your team. Oh! No! What are you doing?
Ah!
That's my support right there. Actually, he gets out. Never mind. Maybe he just knows what he's doing.
Okay,
As we see,
maybe.
Storm is actually pressuring bot side here, putting a lot of pressure on this team. They're forced to back. They're trying to find an angle here. As it looks like you're just going to have to give over this
And it's
Baron.
putting so much pressure on bot side. They're splitting the map perfectly, and right now, Squid Squad's in no man's land. Ziggy gonna
Basically,
Ziggs
Ziggy
almost
as the
got it.
Ziggs.
Yeah.
The Squig Ziggs tries to land it with the Mega Inferno Bomb, but it's not going to be enough. But I mean, like, it's hard. This game is hard now for Squid Squad, but there is the opportunity. This Smolder,
that was
he
close.
does have a shutdown. He's got to, if he can stay alive, if he doesn't get hit by Poop Suck Boss Man, if he doesn't get engaged on by Storm, there's an opportunity here for, like, Lightning Sabers to mess up these team fights. If Mustard gets caught, if Mustard dies, these fights are really for Lightning Sabers.
If
But-
Iblock gets just the God ults and gets Storm and Mustard and the rest of the team, it really is just one Mom and Ziggs ult away from being a one game for them. They've bought enough time. It's just a matter of can they execute what the comp calls for at this point.
I think with what we've seen, right, they have not been able to execute like we want. But they've gotten a lot of opportunities to buy it out, right? Lightning Sabers have not been able to end, but now, you
Vulcan's
know,
just
that
not
early
afraid
lead that we
now.
were talking about, Fort 20 does not have as big of an advantage as it used to. I actually don't know who wins this, but now Artemis is on the prowl, but we see Poopsuck is also in a position. I think this is going to be a fight that leads us down. Valka is actually taking a lot of damage. Fort 20 is doing a ton of damage. We see that Poopsuck is now tanking for his team. Damn, that guy just took no damage. But now we see that the Mumu and the Ziggs are in position here. Mustard!
Party.
The bandage does not land! If you landed that bandage, it might have been actually enough. As we see
It's
Squid
party.
is choosing to go away. We're now
Great
cutting over to
little-
bot side. We also see that there's an engage going on. This is a battle. This is a brawl. As we see Mustard, he gets the reset. Oh! But we
Wow.
don't see now cutting over to the top side. It's gonna be enough. Squeaks is doing enough damage here. They might find the angle. As we see now, Rookies cutting over to the top side. Actually, he's gonna get the kill onto Diana. Wait a minute.
Oh.
I needed this could actually be it. Actually, Diana gets the kill. Wait, I thought he was dead. Oh my god. Wait, I thought there was an angle here. You might actually look at
Diana's
this. The
pushing to the
Volleyback can
end.
stall. I think there's an opportunity for Squigs and Artemis to buy time here. I don't think Griff can.
Diana
No,
just eats
Diana
towers,
does so
though.
much damage. He eats the towers, but there's no Zhonya's here. I think that's gonna be a. And now does 420 have TP? 420 has TP here actually. If he can catch him, he finds the angle. Go for the TP. Look for the TP play. I think this is your best opportunity here. I think you go for this end. I think you're not gonna get a better opportunity, but they don't choose
They
to.
play
They
it
only go
safe.
for the inhibitor. Wow.
Can you blame him though? I mean, you just swung momentum in your favor, even though you're still down 5k gold. It's at that point of the game where the gold lead really doesn't matter. Almost everyone's full build. Momentum is a real thing, and if you are a Squid, I almost called them Squid Squad.
Game.
You're feeling that momentum. You're like, hey, we just made a game-saving play. We won a team fight on top side. Granted, Diana wasn't there, but they traded opposite inhibs. Drag's coming up. It is Elder. It's
the big guy.
gonna come down to one fight.
It is the big guy, right? It is the dragon of all dragons, the king, basically. But we don't really know. But still, like, they're in a position here. Squid Squad is the one who gets here first, but Lightning Saber's doing a good job of trying to prioritize mid-priority, right? They're trying to make sure they don't go for it. 420 is trying to kind of contest it, but we see that
Tracking-
Rookies is pushing out bot side, which I think is the move. They're actually looking to potentially go for the end. They have to base here, as it might be 420 who's trying to contest the Trundle,
Falco's
but
gonna
you
get
gotta
this.
be cautious here. Yeah, he's getting spaced out here as they're going for the play, but now what they're going to do is they're going to go to Elder. They're buying space. Trundle got the mid priority. He's buying time. The Elder is going to fall. They need to go. It
blocks
buys
in.
space.
Yeah.
Malka is taking no damage, as it looks like
The rest of their team's coming down. The rest of the team's coming down. This is gonna be a fight around Elder.
The Elder is hit. Itblock is not able to get in space. The Elder falls and it goes
Oh,
over to the side
Jinx
of
is
Lightning
untouched.
Sabers. It's going to be too much. That champion is unleashed. And now cutting over, we see that Dan is trying to fight it out. 420 is trying to brawl against this Trundle, but he has the Elder objective. That is actually a great play there from Velka. Buying enough space, making sure, hey, you cannot end this game. And it's so, so tough here. Smolder is back, but hey, on the bright side, they had to base there. They had to defend that super. Oh, top side
Yeah.
there.
Really good macro plays from Valka and squad. I'm assuming Valka was saying, "Hey, I'm gonna waste their time, start up Elder," and that's exactly what they did. And Valka doesn't end up dying in the process, so all 5 members do have that Elder Dragon buff. All 5 members are really strong at this point,
Oh
and
man.
this is Sabers in the driver's seat. They can look to close it out here. One inhib remains in the base of
Oh
Squid
no. Oh
Squad.
no. 420. 420. Oh no, he's trying to flash out. He's trying to buy enough space. Is he gonna be able to get away? Movement! Oh my goodness! Oh, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no! Oh! Wait! Do they have the damage? Ziggs is throwing it in Mega Inferno. It's not gonna. As Artemis flashes forward, I don't think he
Artemis
realizes
had a
that
really
he
good
doesn't-
ult, got Maokai
Rookies,
out.
You gotta be careful here. As he's trying to buy enough space, he's going to be healed up here. This is scary. 420 falls down, and he wasn't able to get away from that.
45 seconds on
Ghost comes
420.
out. Right now, we see that Rookies is being harassed. He's being hit by the Trundle. Rookies, you gotta fire back, man! You're just getting... Okay, well, that wasn't
Oh.
even enough fight. As we see, it looks like that's gonna be enough. That's
That's
gonna be
game.
enough to get the crumbles down. The cookie does not crumble this time. Mustard, he is unleashed. He's 13-3-9. He was able to get it done. And it doesn't matter if you have a baby dragon on the Elder Dragon. It's enough to get the series won. And right now, it's 2-0 with match point on the horizon.
Man, I think
Well, that stinks.
if you, I don't know, if you're Squid Squad, you feel real bad because there was multiple instances where you felt like the game could have been won, and then it just slips out of their fingers at the very end. Great macro play from Lightning Sabers to, clutch it up and secure themselves an Elder Drake and close out the game. But we're seeing some fight from Squid Squad. Improving game to game. So game 3 means it's gonna be like a 50-50, right?
I mean, that game, Squid Squad had the opportunity to take that game, right? We look at the fight around Otacon primarily. That's kind of like the big highlight, I think, of that game. It's just a positioning issue, right? Like, I think that Salamander got caught out and he got bursted, right? He does so much damage if he's able to stay safe in fights, right? We even saw it on that Dragon attempt when 420 was going for the pincer. They bursted Dragon, they immediately turned on, right? They are going to find the opportunity. Salamander, he needs to work on his positioning here. He needs to be with his tanks. He needs to be with the rest of his team if he's going to be able to. Because Smolder, you're basically just damage. If you don't do damage, you are worse, right? You need to get that done. And right now, I need to see it. And I also think it's a bit of a blow because that is one of his champs that he is kind of like he prides himself on. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see what else is left in the tank here for them.
So some developing themes across 2 games now. 420 has been the better top laner in the early game, in the early portions of the game, being able to put some pressure during laning phase. If you're Squid Squad, your back's against the wall. Maybe that's something you play even harder through in this game 3. Salamander, as you were pointing out, hasn't had the best 2 games. Game 1 was really rough. Game 2, not as bad, but still pretty rough, allowing the Diana to get ahead. You gotta slow it down in the mid lane and give your team a fighting opportunity in these early games. Mid lane, once it's unlocked, it's going to be a problem for the rest of your team. And then on the opposite side, looking at 2 points for Lightning Sabers here. Really good play, really good macro play all around. A lot of it stemming from in game 1, unlocking support, letting support kind of run havoc. But Poopsock Bossman has just been really stable jungling presence throughout 2 games. Both teams have had their hiccups. Both teams haven't played perfectly. Game 2 really was anybody's game up until the very end. So I'm excited for a game 3. Looking forward to some continual improvement. And who knows, maybe Squid Squad can get over that hump and secure themselves their first one of the series.
Righteous, I just got some insider information, right? I happen to be friends. He has me added, for instance, with Storm, the mid laner from Lightning Sabers. And I get a simple message, just a simple little message, that says, mid gap. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all he wanted to say. And I think it just needs to be known, right? The side of Lightning Sabers, they're feeling confident, right? And I think when you have that game, we didn't get to see it, but that I don't know how. I thought that Smolder won that fight super easily. But apparently Storm
It was a great whatchamacallit. I want to call it stopwatch, but the Zonias. It was a great Zonias.
Zanyas. But it's just like they were so close. Like I think honestly, if the Smolder got the kill on Diana, that was actually Squid's, right? I think that there is no way. Like you potentially look to TP bot, you could end through that bot wave. And
Yeah.
I think there's only Griffin up. And so technically Storm living and winning that 1v1 kind of saved the game. So
Yeah.
I'll give him that, but I will say there is also response. So I also happen to have a Mr. Fort 20. Other than him potentially getting caught out in side lane all of that game, he had the opportunity to type to me. And he wanted me to let him know that Storm is whack. Is all he wanted to say. That's all he wanted to say. So we'll have to see if these rebuttals from these two players, these two rivals, basically on the Rift, comes to fruition. But right now, as we see, I think side selection has occurred, and it looks like Squid Squad, they are going back to red. I think it is a smart move, right? We have seen that red side has had the advantage, right? They have the opportunity to get that counter pick. Volibear, he had a lot of opportunities, right? He got the solo kill on Velka a good amount of times, right? It's just the game got stalled out so long that Trundle just becomes Trundle, right? He's going to get it done. He's going to cause some commotion, cause some problems. But still, I think your best opportunity is to go red. But even if you win this, it's going to be hard to get that red side back, right? So we'll have to see.
I think despite the fighting words for both teams, Squid Squad, if you went back and watched it, if you to sit down at the end of the season to do VOD review, there's 3 or 4 opportunities starting from level 1. They got a level 1 advantage. Catching out the Lulu there. Could have ran away with the game, just put constant bot lane pressure, but there was 3 or 4 different windows they could have taken that game and ran with it. Unfortunately, unable to do so. Lightning Sabers has been the team that has consistently met that challenge and found ways to win. And so both these teams, game 1, Lightning Sabers, it was all Lightning Sabers from start to end. But that second game was back and forth. I expect more of that second game going forward into the series. And the great thing is with Fearless Draft, none of these champs are going to be played again, right? So it's going to be a brand new setup, regardless of how picks and bans go. So we'll just have to see as time goes on. Can Squid Squad turn it around and reverse sweep, or can Lightning Sabers seal this series with a 3-0?
I think there's a chance for either. There is a chance for either, right? But we always talk about prio picks still. There are 2 AD carries who we've been talking about a lot throughout this series that I'm hoping to see, expecting to see, and one of them is a Yordle, and then one of them is a pirate, who's she's pretty stacked, right? She's pretty stacked on the Rift, to be honest. She's got it done.
She is stacked. I'll give you that.
She's stacked, right? Her win rate is up. I didn't mean anything else by it. So her win rate is doing well. And I think we might be seeing her today. To be honest, I think if either champ or either team chooses to pilot that champion, who is very stacked on the win rate, obviously, I think there's a lot of threat that could potentially happen here. Just a quick little reverse sweep, as Ziploc saying in our chat, as we're waiting on draft to get.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I didn't know Corky was a Yordle. I thought he was just a short old guy.
No, he's just short. No, I'm pretty sure he's a Yordle, right? He
is. I double checked. I was curious.
But still. Maybe it's Tristana. I actually was talking about Tristana, but still. I think Corky, Misfortune are the 2 AD carries that jump out to me. Maybe, I'm trying to think, maybe Callista is another one that I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, could be either, who knows?
Which team's going to pick Cassiopeia first is the real question.
I think these people aren't Cassiopeia abusers, which, props to them. I don't even know if Storm has the hands to pilot Cassiopeia, so, maybe they don't play it this series. It's a tough one. So we'll have to see. Maybe he proves me wrong. That champ does require hands, and I know he's not known for that, but still. It could go either way. I'm expecting them to play some easier stuff. Maybe just put him on, a Galio, just a champ that, So we'll have to see, as it looks like they are getting ready to there. Other than the 2 that we've been talking about, Misfortune and Corky, any other champs you expect to see here?
Expects, who knows? We're in game 3 of Fearless. Going to be falling into some comfort, I would assume. What I want to see is if ADCs are really that bad, uh, an Aurelia Yumi lane perhaps in the bot lane
Irelia Yumi lane. I know
could be
that's
good.
um, it could,
It could be good.
it sure could. It sure could.
Take your opponent by surprise.
I know that Storm plays Irelia. I don't know if Mustard is known for the pick, but maybe he just pulls something out of of his of his champ pool. Out of the champ pool. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But still, they are, they're kind of taking their sweet time on this draft. Squigs is ready, but I'm just waiting for the members of Lightning Sabers to get
They
it
gotta
going.
make sure there's champs they can still play.
They're trying to
in
make
game
sure
3
they're
in
like, man, we
Fearless.
won 2 games. I think it's a little tough from this point, right? We lost the Poppy and the Tom Kinch. But what is Griff gonna play at this point? I don't know. Like those are the only ones who caused some troubles. We'll have to see. As well, it looks like they're about to get started. As we're waiting, as they're gonna wing it out.
Okay, we're in it. We're in it.
Finally, trying to get a bite to eat. As I think we're probably gonna see the same bands. Yep, Nocturne coming out. Expecting it to be that Syndra, Misfortune, Galio from the Squid, and then Lightning Sabers.
Misfortune
banned.
wasn't picked or banned last
That is
game.
true. That is true. I know that these players are watching the stream. Maybe they're influenced by my opinions, and they're like, maybe we do need to prioritize Misfortune. That could be something that they do. We're not supposed to have caster bias, guys, but I am known for my knowledge for a reason. So I think Misfortune should be locked insta by Mustard, but maybe I'm completely wrong. Who
Maybe.
knows?
I mean, honestly, I don't think either of these games has been won through bot side. It's mostly been top centric. So if you're looking for a formula for success, just pick a bot laner that can sustain well on their own, which Corki definitely could. Maybe an Ezreal, maybe a Seraphine. I don't know. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I feel like this game 3 is going to be decided through top side.
I do think you are right. All right, they didn't go with the very stacked 80 carry. They went with the Yordle, which is fair. I think maybe you just aren't as comfortable on it, as it isn't kind of a newer champ that's kind of just recently risen up in the ranks. So maybe they're just like, we'll wait on it. But never mind, there it is. You know what? I'm glad one team is listening. Right? Just they block in the Misfortune. They know it's a strong champ. There's a lot of stuff that goes super super well with it, and I think it's pretty good here.
Yeah. And I mean, the pairings are pretty much limitless. I expect something to set up the Misfortune ult, whether that's Leona, Nautilus, Braum is good. So
Okay.
good takeaway as well. Not letting the Braum block the Misfortune ult. So we'll have to see how that pairing goes. Expect maybe a reversal of the previous 2 gameplay or jungle pathings that we've seen. Maybe a lot more bot side focus in this game 3.
Griff Senna is actually, that champion is pretty spooky. I've played against it a good amount of times. You just forget that champion exists until 35 minutes, and then you're like, oh, all right, I guess I'm getting my butt whooped, to be honest, right? She's just doing a lot of damage. She's being ignored a lot of the time just because she has so. Right now, that's a really strong first 3 for Lightning, right? The Corki Senna, but also echoing back to the Braum, I think it was primarily done as a denial for Griff to make it so that he wasn't allowed to block the Misfortune ulti, which is solid. It is solid, but I also think there's some other good pairings, like potentially Seraphine goes really well with the Misfortune because the charm doesn't automatically proc it. Also, any sleeping champion, so Misfortune, if Iplock plays Lilia, is really really strong, just because sleep does not, for some reason, the bullet time does not count and it isn't procced. So you just get free access to bullet time them just from 0 to 100 to 0, which is awesome.
I think it's gonna be an Iplock Zac, but we'll see. It could be flexed. Not a huge fan of Skarner and Braum. Not gonna lie. It's really hard to get on backline when Braum has ult. So we'll have to see how the Skarner's piloted. I can only assume it's gonna be going into the hands of Poopsock Bossman. Which during the game I was thinking, that's a really long name. How can I shorten it up? His initials are PSBM, which I think is really funny.
That is funny, but I also like the excuse. Never mind. That's childish of me. It's so childish, but Poop Sock, it actually has a nice ring to it when we're
It does.
when we're casting, when we're making calls. So, he it might be a little obscene, We don't know what his true intentions are with that name, but you know what? This night he gets the pass. But we see that Lux actually comes out. I don't think I've seen Storm play this champion. Lux is stupid though, and I hate that champ. So maybe that's what they go with. But we actually see it's going to be an Aurora coming out for Salad. I think that's a
Not
pretty.
yeah, as you say, I'm not a big fan of Skarner and a Braum, but I am a really big fan of the Skarner Aurora pairing.
Mhm.
I lost its luster when they changed Aurora ult. Don't understand why, because it kind of just took away the identity of the champ. But regardless, if the Skarner gets the ultimate Aurora over the top, it's just tons of damage. So I'll have to see if Lightning Sabers can execute that. As we see, their last pick is Rumble. Okay,
I know
lots of
that
damage.
that is a ton of damage, but uh, I don't think that's the pick. To be honest, I would really doubt if they lock in Bard top. I've seen Fort 20 do a lot of crazy things, but Rumble is a champ that I know he does not like to play into a good amount of the time. I think it's pretty good when paired with a Poop Sock Boss Man
I think
starter
it's a
ult.
nod to their 1v1.
It's a nod to the 1v1, the hatred that was fueled in from a Bard ARAM abuser, but we do see it. The Quinnable angle for Dan. He loves this champion. He locks it in whenever he gets a chance. And I do think there is a lot of opportunity for split push here. Rumble, he can, but usually he wants to be in the team fight. He wants to drop that red card, say that equal. He wants to find that opportunity. But Quinn, she's kind of just a sideline menace, right? If she gets to the point where she has 3 items, I don't think there's anybody on that team who does not get out one shot. Maybe you get saved by like Senna miss, so
Mhm.
that like the Quinn can't E onto you, but it's pretty scary.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if the Quinn rises in priority in terms of solo queue and even competitive. Just because TP does feel so bad, you don't have to take it when you're Quinn. You probably get there just as fast as the new TP to team fights.
Mm-hmm.
So it forces you to take something like the Ignite or the Ghost to really harass this top lane Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to see if the Quinn pick pans out. I mean, Squid Squad, their backs are against the wall. They're down 0-2. This is win or go home.
Ride or die.
So yeah, Lightning Sabers playing with the momentum, playing with the confidence. I do really like their comp. But I want to see at least one Squid Squad win. That's what I'm going to go for. My silent, non-biased rooting is going to be for Squid Squad here. They do have some good tools available, but they have to get to the objectives first. Let Lightning Sabers play into them. Try to make a play into them, because if they can pick out, the Senna, the Corgi, the Aurora, the Rumble with, a Lux, a Quinn, Braum, and Misfortune, it's going to be really hard for Lightning Sabers to approach. But Lightning Sabers has plenty of tools of their own, so we'll have to see.
We talked about it last game, right? There's a lot of like instances of like, hey, maybe this team has the better draft, right? Maybe this team, like, they have better players, whatever. We got to talk about the magic, right? The amount of times that a
Wait,
reverse 3-0 would
yeah.
happen here, it's magical, right? There's a
Uh-huh.
chance that it's going to happen, right? There's a chance that they get it done, right? There's the Quinn. Every time I hear it, every time this guy locks Quinn, he says it's Quinnable, right? I think there's a Quinnable opportunity here. Give me Lightning Sabers 3-0. And with that,
There you go.
I think we're going to go to
You
break.
got me this time. There you
We're
go.
going to go to break. We're going to see how these games play out, see what ends up happening. It is going to be a bit of an extended break as we are still waiting on our members. They're going to get some refreshments, get some drinks in them, just as it goes. So we'll be back in just a bit.
What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we lay and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else. What if we stay? I want you to know I can never, never let you go. I want you. I want you. I want you to know I can never, never let you go. I want you. I want you. What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we lay and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else. What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we lay and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else. I want you to know I can never, never let you go. I want you. I want you. I want you to know I can never, never let you go. I want you. 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 What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we lay and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else.
We're here for Game 3 of this series between Lightning Sabers and Squid Squad. Right now, Lightning Sabers are up 2-0 pretty convincingly, but Squid Squad, they are not going to go down fighting, as we see they're looking to potentially get an early game advantage here with the top lane invade, as Artemis is the one leading the call, but the person
Top lane
leading
invade on red side
target-
so hard. I was gonna say.
It is
They're
a
just
little
trying to
tough.
see if Rumble was caught unawares. Rumble actually matching Ignite for Ignite with 420.
Mhm.
We'll have to pay close attention to how these junglers path in the early game. It looks like Squig's going to be doing that standard lethality MF that we've been seeing so much recently
Mhm.
with that first strike there. But everything's pretty standard across the
Yep.
board.
I will say we kind of talked about it a little bit in our break, but there is a lot of kind of pressure that a Quinn puts on the map, right? Because you kind of think, hey, this champion, oh, if we get her behind early, she's useless. So I think with looking at how these junglers are positioned, they're both going to probably be pathing up towards this lane, right? Both of these top laners have Ignite. This is a very volatile matchup. Whoever gets these early kills is going to be the ones who's potentially in this driver's seat. So I think we're going to be expecting the Skarner and the Zac to be an angle. And right now I'm trying to see if any of these junglers got spotted on their clip.
Ooh, Griff taking a lot of damage there.
Ton of damage. That's what Misfortune does, though. Does a ton of damage, as Freak used to say. But still, like, it's going to be Misfortune, Corki. These are probably two of the strongest AD carries on the prep. Nice Electrocute proc there from Storm. The Aurora is super, super easy at proccing Electrocute, right? You just get that Q, auto Q. Super easy, super nice. But we're going to have to see that damage ends up
Level
staying.
2.
The level 2 advantage, and we see that a Q does land, but pretty bad spot here as Artem not done off. Very, very good spacing there, as there's a lot of return damage here, but it doesn't look like it ends up going in the favor of Lightning's bot lane.
It was interesting. Artemis hit the Q on Mustard Gas, but Squigs was focused on Griff. Just kind of a split call there. Didn't really result in anything. Griff did use the heal though, so net positive for Squid Squad. Squigs Squad.
Squig's squad, as he said. I mean, he named it after himself for a reason. As we see now topside, it looks like Fort 20 is pushing this wave into him, but if Valka holds this wave, it's going to be enough time to stall, but right now I think that wave crashes, so the wave is going to push back into Fort 20 here. It's going to make Valka in a bit more of a dangerous spot, right? Especially with Fort 20 getting a nice word to see potentially if the Skarner's in the area. Now
Nice little
cutting around
bind.
Yep, a nice little bind, nice little trade here. We see that Skarner is the one who would potentially get first move here onto this top lane matchup. But right now, with the wave slow pushing into 420, and this Iplock almost being done with this clear, it looks like they're both almost done. Iplock is one camp ahead at this moment. I think they're going to see some action here as we see that.
Look at that ward though.
not
420
land.
warding the entrance. So Skarner's going to be seen
does.
out.
And there's a lot of aggressive trading mid here as well, right? That's kind of the nature of you want to be kind of like playing that AP vein, is what they say a lot of the time. But Iplock, I don't know if he got spotted, is looking to potentially find that angle on Valka. Now,
Skarner spotted immediately.
Skarner spotted immediately, but there's also that is being placed down. If Valka goes a little aggressive, he might. That is the angle that he needs. That's a flash out. That's a great flash, and honestly, you at this point.
Yeah, good flash. It just feels bad that you have to burn it. Skarner playing for the scuttle should get double scuttle potentially. Zac gonna have to back.
He's losing a little bit of time, but he's actually looking for the loop around here onto Rookies. But the bind is used really early. Is he gonna find the? And he does not land it. But we see 2 tower shots going down. That's actually a lot of damage. But
Ooh,
in
Rookies is
return-
looking.
Rookies was looking, but Storm is there to cover his Scorpion.
Brahm's
and
running
help
up.
him out. But we see Braum is looking, but I don't think he's gonna actually have enough to actually contest that Scuttle Crab, unfortunately. But
Root.
still,
Oh, Mustard.
Mustard is in a potential bad spot as that exhaust is coming out. Artemis is leading the charge. He's trying to get that flash lane.
Does get the
stun.
stun.
Connects. It's a lot of damage, but Squix doesn't have a lot of mana here. The barrier comes out. I'm wondering if he has enough damage. The flash is not. Is it going to be enough to get the Mustard? He does, but right now I think this is going to end up way of Lightning Sabers as Griff picks up that kill, making it a 2 for the bot lane there.
2 for 1. First blood into Lightning Saber's hands. So, not a great trade for Squigs and Artemis. But the flash forward was interesting. You'd like to actually flash back, get out of vision there, but regardless, 2 for 1 trade. So, not the end of the world, but does set a tone for this game 3.
I mean, we talked about Misfortune as being one of this kind of like basically immovable AD carry. The one thing she really struggles with is her mana pool is not the best, right? She runs out of mana pretty constantly, especially when you're looking for continuous pokes in lane. And we saw that there. She ran out of mana. She wasn't able to get continuous Qs off, and that's a good amount of her damage. So I think just when you get a Corki who's just able to continuously auto, have the buffs from the Senna, it just ends up going the way of Lightning Sabers.
Yep. Couldn't have set up better more. You look at bot lane now, 10 CS up on that Corki. Did get the kill as well. Oh, great ultimate from Storm. That's a dead Rookies,
That is
would imagine.
Dead Rookies. Very well played there from Storm. Honestly, I've had that happen to me too many times, not paying attention. The invisible bunny just shows up out of nowhere. Shots still. I think we've seen it every game where Storm has one shot or killed Rookies early in this lane. And I think right now you got to be cautious. You got to be. And I
Yeah.
think
Already about 1,000 gold lead for Lightning Sabers here, and honestly, looking at their comp, not a lot of weak points to really target.
Ooh.
Quinn, 420, and Iplock doing a great job making sure that side is warded up, so they can't be caught by any unique Skarner gank paths. And top to bottom, carving out nice lead for everybody except for Valka, who did have to burn that flash, but I think he's gonna be okay. He's just gonna show up and hit R and do his thing.
He is the weak side warrior for a reason, right? He is down a decent amount of farm for this point in the game, but when we see, actually cutting over, we see that the members of Lightning Sabers are moving up. 420 was not able to immediately get that move speed burst.
Look at Griffin putting in work here.
Griffin is absolutely clobbering onto Squigs as I do cut down. There's action going all over the place. He's forced to get that base off. He's forced to run away, but now cutting over top side, we see Poopsock is the one who has control over this
Rookies has no idea where Storm is.
Rookies is taking a lot of damage, but Poopsock is in the area, and a great
Oh.
from Poopsock flashing over the bind. Rookies is in a bad spot, not even able to get the ultimate off. They don't have enough damage to keep this fight going, and Storm loves these extended fights. Aurora thrives off of them, right? Continuing to get that passive proc, it's just going to be continuous damage.
You can't do a lot of skill expression with Skarner, but Poopsock Wise Man found a way to make Skarner look sexy.
That Scorpion just absolutely let him know. And Rookies, he's down 0-2. He's not in the best spot. I mean, unfortunately, he did have to blind pick mid, which I think is fine, but still, you have to play around it. You can't be making these mistakes. You got to be cautious of looking for those cheeky kills, because that's how she gets into the game, right? She finds a way to sneak off of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Storm buys a Dark Seal this game. He's probably feeling confident about the series of Gone. I think it's something that Rookies, you gotta be careful of. And speaking of, he's pushing up a little bit aggressively here with pings going onto him. And with the W coming out into the immediate R, it's gonna be a lot, as the Fate Between Worlds is doing a lot. Griff also to help damage. Is the Q gonna be able to land? He's trying to dodge it. Misses the Q. If the Q landed, that was a pretty dead rabbit on my screen. But he's getting a good amount of return damage on the other side. As we see, Iplock is actually trying to show up. I think that W is still down for Storm, so he's looking for the play. But no, never mind, it was back up as the Rabbit's just going to jump away here. But we see both the jungle and support trying to bail out their mid laner. And it looks like she was able to get out of it.
Yeah, and I just feel like Lightning Sabers have been able to get so much play gold pretty much in every lane except for top. Maybe it's just bot. It is just bot. But it feels like a lot. Griff gonna be caught out here. Doesn't have any summoner spells to the his name. And
Griff has been in better spots before. He's trying to fight his best, but I think... Wait, no way! Oh my gosh, okay, I'm glad that they got the kill, but I think honestly this is still a really good fight for Squid Squad. They get the root, now Kith. But now there's no ultimate here from the side of Storm. But Mustard Gas does fall. Right now, it is the 80 carries have. It is the mid jungle versus the mid support, and right now I like the mid jungle's odds. Iplock finds the angle. He finds it, and actually there's a passive up here, but I think Artemis is gonna fall. Are they gonna have enough damage to kill? Actually,
they should have plenty.
It's gonna be close. He goes for the angle. And it's not enough, as the Skarner is able to pick up 2. And right now it's a 2k gold lead over to the side of Lightning Sabers.
Yeah, this Skarner is really big, and it's, it kind of feels bad that Skarner is getting so many kills, except for the fact that you look at the damage profile from Squid Squad. Who's ever going to kill him once he starts stacking armor and magic resist?
Quinn does a lot of damage, but, I don't think it's going to be enough, to be honest.
I don't think you're assassinating a Skarner.
Yeah. Look, man, I don't know. I've seen this Quinn do ridiculous amounts of damage. I don't know if Skarner is her primary target, but maybe there's some hopium there a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, there's always hope. Game's not over until the Nexus explodes. Iplock looking for an angle.
Ippy long stalking, forcing out the flash there from Valka, but the equalizer is landed in. I honestly think he might have done that just to clear the wave,
get the
some
wave.
farm for himself, which is smart. That's kind of one of the broken things about Rumble, is it does so much damage to the wave, gives you basically a free base a lot of the, which is nice to have a lot, especially when you're top lane. You got to be able to just make sure you're getting stuck in lane for too long, and it lets Rumble and Valka get back and go for that base here. But honestly, 420, he has the Symbiotic Souls. He has R to get back on map immediately. Even though he based second, it looks like he's going to get back to faster. And he definitely is here.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting. This Dragon spawned in 5 minutes, and it's almost we've ticked over 11 and a half minutes. Just about.
Oh, is
Really no pressure.
Poopsock's looking to give this Zach a little bit of pain, as we actually see Poops actually up a very sizable amount of gold. The bind does land for rookies though, but there's not a lot of damage that you're going to be doing on this. As the ult does miss, but it's not going to be enough, as Storm is able to do enough damage to block the blue man. But we see a double root come out, as it looks going to try to get enough damage, but there's not enough follow-up. Oh my god, wait, you're going to die. As he does, Storm picks up the kill. Rookies, he flash. Also, the melee from Lux is something that is, it's happening. But
yeah, after seeing that, I still don't know who kills Skarner, because he basically just face tanked, 2 rotations of spells from both Zach and Lux, and still didn't die.
I think it's tough here, right? I'm pretty sure this is also feats of strength going over to... Actually, no. I think it's only been one epic monster taken.
Yeah, just one so far.
But they could... That dragon is still up for the taking, but we see Artemis and Squid.
Everybody is topside.
They're trying to find an angle here onto this play, as we do see Poopsock is there. There's one left
has
up. They can
ult.
stop it, but Iflock is going in. The ultimate does miss from Artemis. They're trying to deny it. I think if it denies, it does not as that epic, which is... So that buys them a little bit more. They are down a side gold for this point in the game, but hey, they're holding on to strings, and you know what? They'll pull onto that one.
Yeah, denies the 6 grubs as well as an epic monster take, so...
Also, Iplock, I think I've seen him do it before, but he has a Hex Tech alternate. I think he's going Proto Belt Zach.
Okay. Hey, man, I mean, your season is do or die, so if you think you can win with Proto Belt Zach, more power to you.
It's just fair, very fair. I think it's like, realistically, I'm gonna need to find a way for 420 to find a way to just pressure this Rumble even harder. I will say, the thing is with Quinn, a lot of people just assume she is just only a lane bully. She actually scales incredibly as the game goes on. If you can catch someone off guard, you do so much damage. It's a relatively squishy team that is, other than like the Scar. But we'll just hope someone else can deal with the Skarner, right? Misfortune with lethality obviously can handle it, right? But it's, I mean, it's tough still. Damn.
I mean, it is a very tough position that Squid Squad finds themselves in, but Poopsock Bossman just wasted the ult. So there is an avenue that they could get aggressive here.
They are trying to get aggressive here, as we see Artemis is the one to potentially lead the charge. Iplock is in the end. He finds a way into the pit. He gets the dragon. Great steal. But we're going to see how this fight goes. The Misfortune ult is not the best, as Storm is doing a lot of damage on the side. Poopsock Bossman is on a rampage. He picks up the kill. Storm is also doing it. 20 and Artemis are on the retreat, as we see all over on the other side. PC playing a 2-man bind. It's not going to be enough. It's so much damage. Poopsock is taking negative damage. He's actually just standing still. I think he's asserting dominance at this point. But it's really tough, right? You got to find angles back into this game, but with the Scorpion is, and your Zach being... How did he grab him there? That is insane. Okay, I'm so surprised that got hit there, but it looks like they're both going to fall. Rumble picks up the kill. And I know we talk about this.
You know what just happened there?
What happened?
So Skarner's doing his E, looks like it's going to go wide. The Quinn eat onto him and got sucked into the...
We might see that they pick up the kill on the Storm. Potentially, they're not actually...
Oh,
no! He doesn't die, and it's not enough. Iplock is going to fall. This is so tough, as we now see it's basically a 10k gold lead at 15 minutes here.
Yeah, things went from bad to worse. It's just plain ugly at this point. Yeah, word to the wise, if you are Quinn, never E onto a Skarner that's running at your noggin, because you don't win that battle. Skarner gets the prio.
I did not know. That's probably... I was like, how did she get caught there? And, well, she got absolutely abducted there, to be honest with you.
Well, bright side
I've seen
is...
worse. I've seen worse.
Objective bounties are up. There's
Objective
a comeback
bounties-
mechanic.
There is one, in this season where it said snowballing is the way to go. Oh man. Like there's well, I don't know. It's a tough game. It's a tough game, to be honest. Like you're kind of just playing it out, seeing if you can find some miracle plays, finding some miracle picks, right? Quinn has the opportunity to go for these picks, but maybe Storm is the pick in sight as they look to find that angle here. 420 is trying to go in. Oh my gosh, he actually just gets one shot on my screen. 420, you had no chance there, brother. And we see Artemis, he does tank the ultimate for his teammate, but Artemis is now by himself, and that heart steal does a little bit too much damage, in my opinion. as Artemis is now trying to buy enough time for his team, trying to buy space. Artemis make sure the I thought that the wolves were gonna get him there, but they didn't this time. As now we see
Did he
F-Block
get
is
the
trying to
execute?
get enough space. He might try to get the execute as the ultimate is
Nope.
bouncing around for Zach. The ultimate comes out, the bullet time.
Okay.
Not gonna be enough, but we see a
Shutdown.
shutdown. Griff is dead. That's money in the pocket. They're only down 15 kills now. It's doable.
We say it's doable.
It's
That's
winnable.
optimistic thinking. You're a good teammate.
And
If
it's,
I'm Oscar squad, it's just like let's just fight for our dignity and try to make this game last as long as we can, because it's looking rough out here.
it is looking very rough. There aren't a whole lot of angles to get back into this. This Storm Aurora is doing a ton of damage. It is getting a lot of priority, right? We just seen like the way that they needed to win this game for Squid Squad. It didn't come to fruition, right? They needed to honestly over abuse top lane. I think that was their best chance to stay into this game. Because with the way it's looking now, it's just like, who's winning this game for you, right? Because Miss Fortune is 1-4. She's building full lethality, and that Skarner is building just straight resistance. Like you're gonna struggle. As we see, actually, wait, 420. He tries to find the angle. As we see, oh my god, he almost
got
just
it.
died. 420 is on the board. He finds the angle. I told you, that Quinn champion, it's always quinnable, right? Just there is an angle.
Yeah. Got to play really hard these side lanes is okay.
Okay. I mean, he R's.
Rookies, you have to
just,
walk into it.
He R's, but we see a good use of Valkyrie there for Mustard. Three
Rookies,
members here
rookies.
are, but Iblock is trying to buy space. He is pretty tanky at the end of the day, even if he does have a right. I think you've got to be looking for plays here, right? 420. See, he's got that shutdown. He used his gold. He's got a noon quiver. Okay. So there's an opportunity, but
Yeah, at this point in the game, right? I think if you are Squid Squad, you recognize like, oh, we're pretty far behind. You just kind of have to simplify to the game to the point of like, what can we do and what can't we do, and what's a gray area? Because gray areas are wins if you can pull it off, right?
Mhm.
And at this point, you really don't have anything to lose and everything to gain by trying to make plays. They just got to be smart and a little bit calculated. So I did like the 420 pick on a Storm. Gonna have to make more of that happen to try to claw your way back into this game.
100%. But oh, it looks like no, he ran, and I think you can't E out of that. It was a great use of your stock boss man, and with Griff also on the hunt, you got no. Now Valka turning
Oh my
away at
goodness.
the Rookie's champ. Does he have ultimate? He used it on the wave, and it's not going to be up in time. But Griff, he's asserting his dominance. He's letting that jungler know who he was. He's farming up with the cleaver stacks. And right now, it's just looking that Herald Shelly is on the rampage. He goes for that tier 2. I think she might even be Ash on that tier 3. And it's just tough, man. You're trying to find angles back into this game, but there aren't a whole lot.
Yeah. By not a whole lot, there's practically none. Griff does get a little aggressive.
If Block
there.
finds the angle, we see a heal come out from Griff. I don't think it was needed, but he was respecting him. He was saying, I'll give you a courtesy heal just cause. But I don't know, man. This game's a little tough.
Well,
As Otacon, he growled at me just to let me know that he's on the map, as it looks like 3 members of Lightning Sabers are in a position to take it. We're going to actually have to see what the Otacon actually is, as if we hover over it, it is the one I think that gives the revive. So they could go for some aggressive plays here, but they actually are just choosing to zone, because the Dragon and Otacon are at the same time. So it leaves an interesting dynamic. I don't think I've actually seen this yet. As Poopsock is going in, he's trying to find the angle. He actually lands it onto Iblock, which is not the primary target that you want. But we see that the members of Squid Squad, they're having to run away. And that is a massive fate between worlds for Storm. Doing so much damage. Iblock's passive props, but I think the blobs are going to flop.
They just
as
end
he
here?
dies. There's a good angle, to be honest. I think if you're Quinn, I think, you say, hey, you know what, guys? I'm just going to go for the end. I think the Quinn's ending the game. Never mind. She's maybe basing. Nope, she needed the cannon first. Then she's good. But I think you're losing so much here. Like, you're losing your top. Actually, top is the one thing you aren't losing. You're losing your bot lane inhib. You're losing your mid lane inhib. Losing so much. And 420's looking for an angle. he gets slowed out of it. He's taking some damage, but when you got Poop Sock and Rumble just backing you up, it's tough.
Yeah, this whole game has kind of been tough. It's kind of a game one repeat. The problem, I wouldn't say a problem. One characteristic of this new season is it's really easy to exponentially lose a game. You take one bad fight and you go, oh, it's not really the end of the world. Then you take another one. It feels bad, but you know, you're kind of still in it. But then, just the way the new season goes, the feats of strength and everything like that, one small misstep can just lead to a 10k gold deficit.
Okay,
at
the
22
flash engages there
minutes.
from Poop Sock. He finds Squigs, the one primary damage carry there. He's doing his best to try to do damage. Itblock immediately pops. He falls. The Proto Belt was not able to get him out of safety, but Musk absolutely throwing away at Musk.
great
The
ult
flash
by
comes out to
Storm.
make sure that Quinn falls. Skarner finds the angle on Deluxe. It's just Squigs and Artemis left alive. Poop Sock is absolutely running down Squigs right now. He is not letting this guy go. The rock lands. Squigs,
Hard
run
kill,
for your
Brock.
life, buddy. You're not going to get out of this one, I don't think, as we see
Oh,
Griffin
gave
picks
it to
up the
Griff.
kill. It's just Artemis. The equalizer comes down to slow him down. Actually, good block there. I think that might have potentially killed, but we do see Artemis is running for the hills. He's trying to get away, but he's being corralled. They didn't even play with their food. They just knew they wanted the game to end, and it looks like it's going to be an absolute stompage here in Game 3. We thought that the Squid Squad had an opportunity. The squad looks to be no more, as all 5 members of Lightning, they have something to prove. They want to fight 10KBs, and they win this series with a dominant 3.
I mean, 23 minutes on the dot. You have to figure that's the fastest playoff game so far for LXC Draft League.
Yeah. I believe so. That is what I would
It's gonna
assume.
be up there at least.
It is. Also, looking at the damage charts, by the way, I don't know if you see the same.
Yeah,
that's
that's disgusting.
Second place damage was Griffin with basically 13k. Number 1 was Storm, who had 10k more at 23k damage. This
Yeah.
game, it was 13k at 23 minutes. It's a bit of a tough one. That's a bit of a toughie. That's obviously not how you want the series to end. I will say though, I know a lot of the guys over on Squid Squad, they did an excellent job of continuing to get this far. Hey, they kicked my team's butt, to be honest. They beat us 3-1. So like realistically, they've earned their spot here, and it sucks
Mhm.
obviously that the series didn't go their way, but still, they got here for a reason. They played well. Game 2 honestly could have gone anyone's way. I realistically think if they won that Game 2, this series would have been a lot more competitive. There's just a lot of momentum in like having a game that's you're so close to winning and then just like losing it. I know I've just been on the receiving end of it multiple times, but still, it sucks. But you know that's how the game goes. Sometimes you can move on. You can be proud of how you play.
Yep. I mean, honestly, here's my philosophy. When you're playing a draft league, if you're going in thinking you're gonna win the whole thing, you're gonna have a frustrating time. You know, it's really fun to get to know some new players, get to kind of collaborate, maybe see league from a different light. Hopefully that's what Squid Squad was able to do. Just have some fun. Never feels good getting stopped, but up until this point, you were a playoff contender, and wasn't the best showing, but you were still able to get to loser semis. So nothing to scoff at there. Meanwhile, Lightning Sabers, if you're 10KBs, you were kind of on notice because outside of Game 2, Lightning Sabers came out ferociously in the series.
Some might say like a lightning strike because of how awesome they were. You know, that was really bad. I'm sorry. But you know, you kind of knew what I was going for a little bit.
Yeah,
Like a lightning
that's
strike, they
good.
struck fast, they struck hard.
Yeah.
And you know, they struck fast in this series as they end up taking it 3-0. But Righteous, I think before we cut out this game, move on to
Mhm.
next week, that matchup between 10KBs, I think there's an obvious MVP here. I'd love to see if we're on the same page. Who do you think is that MVP in this series?
Probably Storm.
Yep. I hate.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was he kind of just dominated in almost all of the games. To be honest, other than like, no, he kind of dominated. It was what he needed to win the series.
I'll
Much as I
say
hate to say it, but yeah.
I'll say MVP is Storm, but the most consistent player is probably Poop Sock Boss Man.
Poop suck,
Uh,
boss, man.
That guy was doing work in the jungle. It was playing tank junglers was unheralded but did his job.
I want to see how many times he actually died in the series, because I know he only died once in game 1. He died 0 times in game 3. Do you know how many times he died in game 2?
I think it was 2 in
So he
game
died
2.
3 times throughout the series. That's as a tank
As
player.
a tank jungler.
That's pretty
Yeah.
insane. He played for his team. He played exactly how his team needed.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Yeah, with that, I think this series has come to an end. We have to say goodbye to the Squids, the Squid Squad. They fought valiantly, but we'll have to move
I have a
on.
Saber joke for you to close the stream.
I want to hear that joke, please.
All right, just like Luke's right hand, we got to cut the stream right off. So we'll see you next time.
Unfortunate indeed. But we will see you guys for next week between the matchup between 10KB and now your advancing Lightning Sabers. You guys have a good rest of your night.
You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me, and he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. Loves the blood and gore, always wanting more. Freedom from the source, they don't release this until they feel the force of hard in. If you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protected.